Is back here at Spillane Field just in time for the second matchup of the season between the Gatemen and the Kettleers. Alongside Cory Miller, I'm Josh Richardson. Cory, score-wise, this might not be, yesterday might not be the worst loss of the season that the Gatemen have had, but when you look at how it happened, it might be up there.
Especially just kind of how that game felt. The 7 errors, obviously, the team just kind of fell apart as the game continued to progress. And that bottom of the 8th inning, it all kind of fell out, and it was just all around, I think, an embarrassing game for the Gatemen. I think we can say that. Ryan Smythe kind of alluded to that for the team. It's just something they hopefully maybe want to forget, but more importantly, maybe an opportunity for them to remember that, how they felt, how poorly they executed, maybe take that as a learning moment to bounce back the rest of the season. 6
different players recorded an error yesterday in the 11-4 loss to the Commodores, and now you have to face a Cotuit team that put up 19 runs yesterday, really started to play a lot better baseball since these two teams met back, opening weekend.
Completely different squads, obviously just the second game of the season. Even go back to the end of June, Cotuit was 3-9-1, the worst team in the Cape. Now all of a sudden they're at 7-10-1. Wareham is now 6-12. They were 6-7 to end June. So two teams kind of trending in opposite directions. The Gatemen really have to get back on the right track against another division rival. No better team than to do it against Cotuit. Get some revenge for that opening second game of the season loss.
Well, for more on tonight's revenge game, we send it down to our sideline reporter, Rayna Maggelet.
Rayna Maggelet joined alongside Wareham Gatemen infielder Landon Stripling. So Landon, you've been here since opening day. What's the best memory you've made thus far?
I don't know. We went to Chili's really early on. That was fun. And then I'd say the best probably is we went golfing on like our first off day as a team. Marion had us out there golfing. That was pretty fun.
That was fun.
Yeah.
So you've had a pretty consistent spot in the lineup so far. How do you maintain motivated with such a busy schedule?
Well, I mean, I think everybody has the dream of being professional baseball players out here, and so I don't think you need too much motivation to want to come out here and play baseball against some of the best people in the country. So
Absolutely. Final question. You have 2 of your teammates from Gainesville out here with you. What does that mean to have them out here with you experiencing this?
Yeah, it's awesome. Being on a spot that I've never been before, just having guys that I already knew coming into it is, I guess, provided a comfortability factor, just having those guys. But obviously the rest of the team's awesome. It's been great getting to know these guys. But yeah, having those 2 guys here has been fun.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Good job tonight.
Thanks, Rayna. With first pitch at 6, Cory and I will be on the call on Cape League TV and on YouTube. Well, Cory, it's nearly 6 o'clock here from Spillane Field, and finally, we've got some baseball back, and we get to broadcast it today. A little bit different than what we had on the 4th of July.
Yeah, it was a year apart.
It's been a couple days. Last time that we were here at Spillane Field for a full, normal broadcast, came back on Wednesday against Harwich, and now a battle against Cotuit. These are 2 teams that look a lot different than when these 2 teams first battled on opening weekend.
They really do. We talked about a little bit in the open, but the teams themselves in terms of the rosters have obviously changed, the makeups, but kind of what's going well, what's not going well. Obviously for Wareham, it's been a struggle since the calendar flipped to July, but you go all the way back to the second game of the season in that walk-off Cotuit win. The bats for the Gatemen were still struggling to get going early on in the season, obviously flipped the script. They've only scored 4 runs last night, 2 to Bourne the night before, so it may not look like the Gatemen bats are working right now, but they really have found some consistency as opposed to way back early in the season.
Yeah, I mean, when you just take their, run totals and hit totals, just at that, they have been hitting a lot better than they did at the start of the season, but it's been the pitching over the last few games that has really been to their detriment. And now they've got to go out and try and pitch a lot better, and it really starts with Cooper Consiglio on the mound for the Gatemen.
It does. Consiglio, when you look at him getting his warm-up pitches, and location's obviously important for any pitcher, but it's especially important for Consiglio. It's something he worked on at NC State this past spring. He got better with his control, better with his walks allowed as the season progressed. You're going to see a fastball and a breaking ball, especially from the southpaw. If he can locate those pitches, especially early in counts, and work off of each other, he's in store for a really solid night.
It'll be the lefty's 4th start of the season, comes in at a 4.09 ERA, and each one of those starts has just gotten a little bit better, and he's going against the Kettleers lineup that is coming off a game where they raked, win all capital letters. It starts with Jaron Advincula, then Caden Bogenpole, Ryan Farber, 1, 2, 3, Dean West, Jack Natilli, and Camden Johnson down the middle, and rounding out the lineup, Nolan Stevens, Case Sanderson, and Anderson French. Cory, 19 runs against Brewster yesterday. That's a Whitecaps team that, before yesterday came in pretty high up on those ERA rankings when you look at it team-wise across Cape Cod.
Yeah, and it just 19 runs. It kind of felt like where I'm allowed 19 always yesterday, but 19 runs, it's just all around 1 through 9. You got to be producing, firing on all cylinders as an offense to be able to make that happen against a good team in Brewster, too. Some lefties, a lot of them in the lineup for Consiglio to get those platoon advantages. Stay away from Advincula to lead things off. He's really dangerous.
Well, he's going to have a lot of those platoon advantages, and, he's been striking out a lot of guys, but let's take a look at the defense behind him. Colin Ritchie, Hayden Yost, and Chase Cruson read left to right in the outfield. On the infield corners, Colby Turner and Levi Clark. Up the middle, Vance Shea and Braden Randall. Hunter Carnes behind the plate. Chris McHugh has the day off defensively. He's in a DH position. We'll see him on the offensive end. Couple changes in there from the lineup from yesterday, Cory. When you have 7 errors in a game against Falmouth, something has to kind of change a little bit there. Cooper Consiglio, his first pitch is a fastball that misses upstairs, and we're underway here from Spillane Field.
And you knew, obviously, Ryan Smythe was going to try and get in some of the guys who were not making some of those sloppy plays in the field, try and send a message that the guys who performed well are the guys who are going to play here tonight.
Liner over to second, played on a hop by Randall. Toss over to first is in time. Nice backhanded grab from Levi Clark, and Advincula is retired 4-3 to start off the game.
And as I said, Advincula is the guy you want to take care of at the top of the order for Cotuit. Obviously, we talked about different look at these two teams as opposed to the second game of the season, but Advincula has been consistent, won the Cape League batting title last summer. He's been a consistent force again for Cotuit this summer.
First pitch to Bogenpole is a big swing and a miss. You mentioned that Advincula hit pretty well last summer when you look at it. Led Cape Cod and won the batting title. Nearly hit 400. A 1. Chopped foul down the first baseline.
This Cotuit team second across the Cape in OPS. Like a lot of these teams, you can navigate kind of the first 6 or so guys, especially at the top of the order, 1 through 3. The average is all elevated, so try and work around them.
Here's the 0-2. It misses high with a fastball. Up at 92 for Consiglio. Bogenpole, one of those newer faces for Cotuit. Have had some guys moving in and out of the lineup over the last few days. 2-2, fouled off and out of play. Just his 6th game of the season, but he's been raking .417 batting average, on base over 600. He's got a home run and 6 RBIs under his belt already. Now faces a 2-2 from Consiglio. Weak chopper back to the mound. Consiglio underhand toss to Clark for the second out.
And, some of the teams the Gatemen have faced this past week really have benefited from some new faces who've come in to replace some guys for one reason or another. They've really provided a spark to the offense. Andrew Kane, Easton Breifogel have kind of done so for Wareham, but they're really looking for that consistency kind of up where Bogenpole's numbers are to really spark the lineup.
Yeah, there's been some of those new guys, but then some guys that have been here the entire season. This is the 19th game of the year, and Ryan Farber has played all 19 with his start today for Cotuit, and he takes a first pitch fastball upstairs. He was 3 for 5, 3 RBIs yesterday, had a home run as well. Have to think that at some point, that 6th inning, 14 of those 19 runs came in the 6th. Kind of had to just feel like batting practice at that point.
And it'll be interesting to see, obviously, these teams played in 2 kind of prolonged games. Obviously, the mercy rule was applied in that Cotuit-Brewster game. But still, when you put up 19 runs, you're batting through, and the game just keeps on tacking on. So how will the energy factor into this game for both squads?
That was something that Ryan Smythe talked about yesterday after the loss to Falmouth. He said to us, Cory, he said, well, hey, hopefully they got all their runs out yesterday, and maybe the bats took the day off. Only one way to find out. Consiglio behind 2-1. Farber waits. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball over the heart of the plate, 2-2.
And listen, you wouldn't necessarily just call them fluke games because they happen for a reason, but 7 errors for the Gatemen, 19 runs for the Kettleers. Chances are that's not going to carry over on a consistent basis, so expect a new game for both teams tonight.
I think everybody would hope so, at least from the Wareham side. 2-2, fastball misses outside. Yeah, I mean, 7 errors, and Falmouth just kept pouring in runs throughout that entire game. It started in the third, and that was the first inning that Falmouth scored, and runs came in every inning after. Scoreless for just the first 2. Payoff pitches fouled away.
And it is worth noting that the Gatemen got some early defensive work in early this afternoon around 12:30. That may, for some people, go without saying, but Ryan Smythe immediately mentioned that yesterday, that the team was going to get out here and practice defense, infield, outfield work earlier than they usually do.
6 different players with an error, so it wasn't just all on one guy. Payoff pitch, misses downstairs, and a 2-out walk for Ryan Farber keeps the inning alive.
Really nice job by Farber. You're seeing in that at-bat why he's been so successful this season with the average of 324, why he had a big game last night. Consiglio worked a good at-bat, was in and around the zone, mixing and matching with the fastball breaking ball. Just in the end, Farber fouling off some close pitches, working the walk.
That brings up Dean West. Had a pinch hit opportunity against Brewster. He walked. 261 average so far this year. Just his 8th game of the season. And a check back over, throws late. Going back to yesterday, Cory, you know, it wasn't all on one guy. Six different players had an error. I mean, it's just a game that you really have to bounce back from. But I think what can sting even more was the fact that they were up 2-0. They had a lead. Hunter Carnes had a home run over into left field. And it really, you know, I know we started to think, wow, you know, maybe this is the turn. Maybe this is where things kind of change and they get back and break that losing streak.
And, you know, this is what we've talked about. You look at some of the box scores from these games, it looks like a blowout, but that doesn't tell the true story of the game. Like you said, they had the 2-0 lead. They've been leading in a lot of different games on this losing streak. They're in a lot of these games. The wheels just fall off at one point or another.
1-0 fastball, misses up and in. Yeah, I mean, you said it. They've been in a lot of these games, up by 2 with 2 outs in the 9th against Harwich. We've talked about that plenty. Then the following day, Mother Nature takes its course. You're up, but a rally in that 6th inning doesn't go finished, and Bourne takes that one. It's really been tough sailing for the Gatemen. As there's a shot over into right field, it's down. Drops in front of Cruson. Chugging over to third. The throw is just late. Farber advances. Good hustle from the shortstop, and they'll be on the corners with 2 outs here for Jack Natilli, the designated hitter.
Yeah, Farber took one look at where Cruson was in terms of his ability to get to that ball, recognized that Cruson had a little bit of ways to go. I don't think Cruson thought that Farber was going to try and get to third. He made a nice throw, plenty of velocity, a couple of hops, but Farber just got too good of a jump. And now this is where the Gatemen, you have to bear down. Consiglio got 2 big first outs. When you're on a losing streak, and then if you fall behind once again, things can really start to seem out of reach, even if they're not, when you've been struggling to win games.
Farber's 3rd on the Kettleers with 4 stolen bases on the season. So can certainly showcase the wheels like he did right there. Now first pitch to Natilli is a breaking ball over the heart of the plate for strike 1.
Good bounce back pitch. You're seeing the movement on that curveball right there. He's got plenty of weapons at his disposal. It's just a matter of locating them. Obviously, you'd prefer a lefty-on-lefty matchup here. But if Consiglio can locate consistently, should hopefully be in a good spot.
Natilli, the only pure righty in this Kettleers lineup, swings and misses there and quickly behind 0-2. 7 lefties, a switch hitter, and a righty. Natilli, of course, in the box now. Following him, 4 more southpaws. Definitely does play to Consiglio's advantage later and later in this game. 0-2. Misses high and outside. Here comes Farber. Toss to the bag. Is offline.
You see the frustration from Consiglio immediately right there. Just a fastball he's trying to locate, but just the release point wasn't there. And we talked about it. When the location goes awry from him, that's where he starts to get in trouble. Ryan Smythe has talked about trying to limit those wild pitches because you had no 2 count and you're just trying to execute on a perfect pitch, and now all of a sudden you're trailing once again.
He tried to go at the breaking ball. It was at 83 miles an hour and just couldn't get the spin down on it. 1-2, breaking ball. Gets Natili inside, and now he's over to first. So going from ahead 0-2 with 2 outs and runners on the corners to now putting first and second with a run in. This inning has started to get away from Consiglio here.
And it's just all about location. 2 really bad pitches, and now all of a sudden a run's in. The Kettleers are threatening for more. First few batters in this game, Consiglio looked really sharp. He just has to stay around the plate, and these past 2 pitches have just missed pretty poorly, trying to locate a couple breaking balls. Tilly kind of leaned into that one a little bit, but still not where he wanted to put that pitch.
Tried to go inside. It came back to bite him. First pitch fastball finds the zone at 91 to Camden Johnson. Johnson, another one of those guys, the only 2 for the Kettleers that have now played all 19 games, him and Farber. Check back over, and they got him picked off. And now a quick game of pickle. And making the tag to end the inning is Van Sheyen. Caught Dean West in a rundown, and that retires the side in the first. Cotuit scores 1. Wareham trying to answer in the home half here on Cape League TV.
Wareham-based 80 Makepeace Company, founded in 1854, is North America's largest cranberry grower and recognized leader in environmentally responsible real estate development and land stewardship. For 171 years, 80 Makepeace Company has supported community events and organizations like your Wareham Gatemen. Visit 80makepeace.com to learn more.
Cape Cod 5 is proud to be the official banking partner of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod 5 offers a broad range of financial products and services tailored for every stage in your financial journey. Reach out to us. We're here to help.
For a good piece of glass, call Abby, located at 3 Tyler Ave in East Wareham. Call Abby Glass and Locks about getting a free quote for your windows, doors, locks, and other glass needs.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we know there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. Now that's how we all win. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
Cotuit plates 1 in the top half of the first. Now Wareham trying to answer. It's 1-0 Kettleers with the Gatemen coming up to bat for the first time. They'll have to face James Hayes, the righty on the mound for Cotuit.
Out of Stetson, 6'2", 220-pound righty. He's had a good summer so far. ERA 2.38 across 3 starts. Expect a mid to upper 90s fastball. Kind of got a high leg kick as well. 3/4 release. There's a couple of secondary pitches with his slider being the best, but he'll also throw 11-5 curveball and a changeup as well.
4th game, 4th start for Hayes. He's at 11 1/3 innings pitched. He's got 14 strikeouts under his belt as well. And now for the Gatemen, trying to take advantage of any miscues that he can leave over the plate. It'll be Braden Randall, Levi Clark, and Hunter Carnes, 1, 2, 3. Middle of the order, Chris McHugh, Colby Turner, Hayden Yost, and then Colin Ritchie, Van Sheyen, and Chase Cruson rounding it out. Definitely a lineup for the Gatemen that has, had a lot of success when you look at some of these names. I mean, that middle of the order, Cory, really stands out in Clark, Carnes, and McHugh.
Yeah, it's just 3 guys who, even with Carnes yesterday, can give you some power, putting in some good at-bats. Obviously, Clark and Carnes, the catching duo, kind of back-to-back. If you can get runners on base, especially with Randall ahead of them, the Gatemen have a possibility to strike back early here in the first inning.
So here's Randall. He was 0 for 4 with a walk yesterday against Falmouth. Now gets ready and digs in. First pitch from Hayes is a fastball down the middle at 91. Randall's batting average at .265. He has hits in all but 3 games this summer. Been one of those consistent faces at the top of this Wareham order. Chops one over to second. It's Advincula, and an easy play over to first for the first out.
In those games where he doesn't have hits, its performances maybe 0 for 3, 0 for 4, because that .265 average from Randall, not really indicative of how productive he's been at the top of the order, getting on base with base hits. It's just kind of those days that lower it a bit. But this top of the order between Randall, Clark, Carnes, you have some really quality hitters that are swinging the bat really well this summer.
Yeah, he had a 6-game hit streak that spanned from the The battle at Hyannis back on June 20th, ran all the way against YD on the 28th, and lost it against Orleans the following day. First pitch misses downstairs to Levi Clark. One-0 misses outside. Clark was the lone guy with those 2 errors yesterday. He was in left field. As a primary catcher, he gets the appearance at first base today. Second time we've seen him over at the corner. One of those fielding, one throwing errors for Clark, so definitely a little tricky for him. Playing a position that, he hasn't played a whole lot at least.
And yesterday was really the first time we've really seen him kind of like a fish out of water with those 2 errors. Other than that, he's been pretty darn consistent in left field. Obviously, he's not a guy you're going to maybe leave in there. We've seen him taken out a few times late in games, but he's done a solid job.
4-pitch walk for Clark, and an easy jog over to first on the walk. Brings up Hunter Carnes. This is somebody that started off his season a little shaky, and since then has just mashed and has not looked back.
He really hasn't. The at-bats have been just really impressive for Hunter Carnes. He's gone the other way. Yesterday, 3 hits, including that home run right down the line. He's talked about adding some more power back into his swing, working on that in the cage. He can do it whatever you need, base hits, doubles, and we've now seen the power.
He's been working on it with Gatemen hitting coach Mike Mobb, some of his personal coaches as well. He had all 4 of those RBIs yesterday, Cory, responsible for every single run that the Gatemen produced. That's why his batting average is .353, OPS above 1,200. Here's Hayes, 0-1 breaking ball, got him strike 2.
And what I like about what Ryan Smythe has done this season, it may seem obvious, but he's really made a point of if you have a good game, you're going to get rewarded. Carnes elevating the lineup. Colby Turner, couple hits yesterday. He's batting 5th, elevating in the lineup.
0-2, skied one into shallow right field, hugging that line. In foul territory, Advincula calls it off and drops fair. Clark over to second. He's in safely, and it just beats the throw. Sanderson, Advincula, and Stevens formed a triangle right along that right field line. Made things difficult. Wynn took that one from foul into fair, and the Gatemen have 2 on and 1 out.
It was interesting because all the way it looked like it was going to be Sanderson's ball, and then he just kind of had that weird angle to it. Maybe Advincula was getting the sense he lost it possibly in the sun. Gave up on it. Advincula and had a long way to go at the last minute. The Gatemen didn't catch many, if any, of these breaks last night, and it's nice to see them get one right here.
First pitch fastball finds the zone against McHugh. Definitely one that Advincula, made the correct call to at least call Sanderson off. It's a lot easier for him to kind of, run in and charge it. McHugh drills that one into right center. That's down for a hit. Clark gets the wave. He's headed for home. Carnes stopping at third. And an RBI double for Chris McHugh knots this game at 1. I mentioned it before the inning started, Cory. This middle of the order continues to produce for the Gatemen. It's 1-1 here in the first.
The focus of yesterday's game might seem like it was on the pitching and defense, but the hitting didn't come through enough either with runners on base. This is how you respond after a game in which you struggle in all facets of the game. You go down early, you get a couple runners on, you catch a break on that drop, pop fly down the right field line, and you immediately come through. McHugh's been a really dangerous bat in the heart of this order, as we've talked about, when he gets going, and now you have a chance for more.
That brings up Colby Turner. First pitch gets away from French. Here comes Carnes, and the Gatemen have a lead. McHugh over to third. And now a 2-1 advantage for the Gatemen, and the third run just 90 feet away here in the first.
Just obviously a pitch that got away, and then the reaction from French and Hayes, not really a chance to get Carnes coming to the plate because no one was going to get to that ball and then cover the home plate in time. Already 2 wild pitches in this one so far. The drop pop up in foul ground. Right now the sloppy plays coming from the Kettleers right now.
That's McHugh's 5th RBI of the season. And now a chance for him to score his 5th run. 90 feet away. Pitch misses outside, and Turner's ahead 2-0.
He's been swinging a hot bat, a home run against Bourne on Friday, 2 hits last night. Seemed to regain that stroke that he had the first couple games of the season.
5 hits in his last 3 games, now quickly ahead 3-0. Yeah, he started off the season pretty hot. He was 3 for his first 8. Those 2 hits coming on opening weekend, and then a bit of a slump in the middle of the year from the 16th all the way down to the 28th. Just 1 hit, rockets that one into left field. That's into the gap. Here comes McHugh. He jogs in easily. Turner turning for second, in without a throw. He stops at the bag. Back-to-back RBI doubles, and the Gatemen are ahead 3-1. Colby Turner, 2nd straight day with a double, 3rd straight with an extra base hit.
Talked about confidence this summer and how important it is, especially when you're a hitter. Colby Turner has regained that confidence. He just sits on a pitch, kind of on a tee, right middle part of the plate for him, just turns on it, drops the center of the barrel on it. An easy double for him. And we're seeing that bat come alive now. This is exactly what the Gatemen needed here in the first.
We talked about, well, you know what, maybe Cotuit's bats weren't going to show up. Maybe a little bit different, having so much run support yesterday, didn't have to worry as much about the pitching. Brewster only the 3 runs. Maybe this is a little different, Cory. Either way, Gatemen are not complaining about this. 3-1 lead here in the first and still threatening. Here's Hayden Yost, had the day off yesterday. Chops one foul down the first baseline.
The at-bats have been really impressive so far. Obviously, he caught a bit of a break on the pop fly from Carnes, but McHugh, Turner, just hard-hit doubles, right center than left center. Levi Clark got all of this started with that 1-out walk.
Just a big week for Colby Turner in this 6-game stretch that's spanning from Tuesday to today. Yost chops that one foul. 6 straight games without an off day, another off day coming tomorrow. In that time, Turner's hitting 6 of 11 with a couple extra base hits.
It's funny because he had that go-ahead RBI single against the Kettleers way back on the 2nd game of the season, so it may seem like he stayed in the middle part of that Gateman order, but credit to him. It took him a while, but he has found that swing.
0-2 to Yost, chops that one over to second. It's Advincula, and another toss over to first for the out. Turner over to third, and now that 4th run just 90 feet away. Hayes has produced a couple of those rollovers, but not enough where the Gatemen haven't been taking advantage of those that he leaves over the plate.
Yeah, you said it. He's been leaving pitches over the plate, kind of up in the zone. And the Gatemen, despite yesterday's game, have continued to maintain that aggressive approach.
First pitch to Colin Ritchie is hit high in the air, deep to right field. No doubt about it. Nolan Stevens can only watch. Ritchie knew it immediately. His first home run of the season. And the Gatemen keep on striking here in the first.
It has been a struggle for Colin Ritchie this season. The at-bats have kind of decreased. This was a guy that was a staple at the top of the order early in this season. Hit second. The bat wasn't coming alive. I think this will change that. Josh, you said it, just an absolute moonshot into right. Stevens barely even moved. He knew right away. Got a pitch, inner part of the plate, left it up, turned on it, turned through it.
First pitch breaking ball misses downstairs to Sheehan. That's just the 2nd home run this season that we have seen at Spillane Field. The first was off the bat of Sheehan. Well, 3rd, actually, Colby Turner had that home run back on Independence Day. 2nd, I should say, that we've been on the broadcast for. I can say that.
We knew it was there. It was just a matter of time, you hoped, and there it was.
1-1 to Sheehan. Flares one into shallow right field. That'll be a long run for Stevens, and he makes the sliding grab to end the inning. 5 spot in the first, and Wareham back in front. Gatemen with an early lead. Cotuit attempts to answer in the top half of the second on Cape League TV.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
A+ repairs smartphones, tablets, game consoles, and computers. Get it done right the first time.
Cape Cod Central Railroad is proud to sponsor the Wareham Gatemen for the second year in a row. Experience the scenic beauty of Cape Cod like never before. Journey through picturesque marshes, cranberry bogs, and dunes on our historic rail line. Whether you're savoring a 5-course gourmet dinner, enjoying a Sunday brunch with a live jazz band, or bringing the family on a narrated excursion, there's a ride for everyone. Departing from Hyannis and Buzzards Bay, visit capetrain.com to book your ride today.
Four hits and 5 runs have the Gatemen up early. 5-1 lead heading into the second inning. Thanks to Colin Ritchie, had a 2-run shot. Second to last batter in that first. Cory, I think I speak for everyone when I say the Gatemen really needed that inning.
They really did. We talked about it yesterday at the end of the game. How would this team respond to such a brutal loss now as part of a 5-game skid? They haven't won a game in July. Well, you want to see the character of a ball club. You still have 8 more innings of work to do, but this is the character of a ball club that wants to win and is willing to respond.
0-5 so far this month. That last win coming a week ago today at Orleans. 6-4 from Eldridge Park. It's been tough sledding since then, but now a sign that the times might be changing. Sanderson skies one into shallow left field, right on the infield dirt. Sheehan calls off Turner and makes the grab.
And I just go back to it. You want to really test the character of a team, put them up against some adversity, and that's clearly what Wareham has been up against since the calendar flipped to July. Kind of the nail in the coffin was the loss last night, just given the airs, given all that transpired. Just a brutal loss, but credit to this team. Again, 8 more innings to go, but a great start.
Here's Stevens, takes a first pitch fastball. He had to watch that home run from Ritchie fly all the way over his head. 435 feet.
That's
for
a long
Colin
ways.
Ritchie. That's a long ways. Consiglio deals 0-1. Breaking ball misses upstairs. It's the farthest hit ball we've seen.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Anything for the Gatemen this year.
We've seen some homers here at Spillane Field, none like that.
Here's Consiglio's 1-1. Fastball misses below the knees. It's an inning like that that can really just inject life into a team like this on a 5-game losing streak. I mean, it couldn't have come at a better time for this ball club.
Especially since, listen, Cotuit scored just 1 run, so they weren't going to run away with this game early, but it's not like the game started in an ideal way either. Consiglio allowed that run to come in to score on that wild pitch, and then immediately you just go to work in the batter's box.
Well, they scored that run, and then it was like, oh,
here we go
again. Yeah. 2-2. Fastball just misses on the corner. It's 3-2.
Cory wants to locate it, though. A really good pitch. He wanted that one. Again, aside from that one pitch that got away on the wild pitch and then the hit-by pitch, Consiglio's been right around the strike zone here tonight.
Consiglio waits, now kicks and deals. His payoff to Stevens is chopped over to second. Playable for Randall. Fields it on a hop and makes the play.
After going out, came back in and got that rollover. The ball's hit and play. Aside from that Dean West base hit, have been pretty soft from the Kettleers, which to me is a sign that Consiglio is locating well with both his fastball and secondary pitches.
First pitch to Sanderson finds the zone for strike 1. Sanderson 0 for 3, had an RBI and a walk against Brewster yesterday. He's hitting .220 this year. Takes a fastball. This Cotuit lineup can rake, so obviously, no lead is safe. That's something that the Gatemen have seen over the last few days as well, but have to feel pretty good about themselves if they can get out of this second 1-2-3. Insiglio deals, breaking ball in for a strike.
Yeah, and as you said, the Gatemen are aware of that. Obviously, they used two of their best pitchers in Butler and Appleby in the game last night. But Consiglio, that cushion, 4 runs, can breathe. Doesn't have to feel like he has to be so perfect. And the Gatemen, I think there's going to be an emphasis on getting every out as soon as possible.
Here's the 1-2. Chopper right back to Consiglio. Easy play, and a toss over to first retires the side. 1-2-3 here in the second. And we move to the home half, and the Gatemen still supporting that 4-run cushion on Cape League TV. Insurance has been servicing Wareham and the surrounding areas since 1980. Call Legacy Insurance for all your insurance needs at 508-295-1315. Legacy Insurance, your hometown agency.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings. They're ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
When it comes to protecting your home, car, or business, trust the team that's been covering our community for generations. For personalized coverage and service that you can count on, the choice is easy. It's Morse, of course. Visit morseins.com today.
An early 5-1 Wareham lead over Cotuit. Gatemen trying to snap that 5-game losing streak. Cotuit, a team that struggled out of the break, and now since have, really started to pick things up offensively and really showcased from that 19-run contest against Brewster yesterday.
They really have. Listen, they're 7-10-1, which may not blow anyone away. They're 4th in the West Division, but when you look at how they started at 3-9-1, 2-7 over their last 10 games to end June, they're now 7-10-1, 6-3 in their last 10. They scored 19 runs against Brewster last night, one of the top teams in the Cape who are over 500. And I think it's something, yes, obviously they're 4th. Obviously it's still a losing record, but it's something. You brought up the Harwich Mariners from last year as an example. How about this Kettleers team? They obviously turned things around. The Gatemen were ahead of them in the standings in June, now behind them, just behind them in 5th place in the West. But look how well the Kettleers turned things around. Just a 5-game skid for the Gatemen. Try and end it here tonight.
You mentioned that Harwich team, 2-17 in the month of July last summer, then came out and won the entire thing. Won 5 of its last 6 contests, defeated Bourne in the Cape League final. 1-0, chopper over to first. Nice play from Sanderson at the bag, and he wins the race against Cruson for the first out. And these are two teams, Cory, that are, struggling right now in the West Division, 4th and 5th respectively. Cotuit 7-10-1, Wareham 6-12. Historically, 2 of the best teams across Cape Cod ever. Since the modern era began, that's 1963, stats, officially getting kept, at every level. Cotuit, 15 titles, Wareham 8, tied with YD for second most. Top of the order again, Braden Randall whiffs on a breaking ball. He's behind 0-1.
And we've talked about this summer, how each summer, year to year, the teams are much different, but I think that shows a commitment by the front office. Many of these guys, the ownership, the guys operating things, the board of directors, the front office personnel, a lot of these guys have been here, men and women, for decades, and it shows a commitment to winning year to year. So listen, obviously, bottom 2 in the West right now, but if the trends hold out, these are 2 teams that can turn things around. Cotuit, to some degree, already has. Wareham, it's just been a bad start to the month. But listen, that's all it is, a start to the month. We're just a handful of days, 6 to be exact, into July.
Not even halfway through the season yet, Cory. Still a lot of baseball to be played. Cotuit last championship in 2019, Wareham in 2018. 1-1 to Randall. Skips in the dirt ahead of French and goes all the way to the backstop. It's 2-1.
And listen, we talked about it some last night. Ryan Smythe has pointed out how things are still very congested and tight-knit in terms of the standings in the West.
2-1, lined over into right field and above Advincula's head. It drops. 1-out single for Braden Randall. He's on for the first time tonight.
And that might sound like a naive thing to say because it almost makes it acceptable to lose, but it's true. Wareham is 6 wins. Hyannis, the division leader, is 9. There's a 3-win difference right there. Yes, 6 separate them in the loss column, too. But you know the talent's there, so it could be a lot worse. If YD was in your division, they have 11 wins. Guys like Braden Randall, the rest of this lineup, you saw that nice base hit Randall had to get on base. The talent's there, and hopefully tonight they can turn things around.
Clark walked back in his first AB. Now takes a breaking ball outside for ball 1. And that was something, too. Smythe mentioned, nobody's really pulled away. He's also said that, we talked about it a lot on the broadcast yesterday, Cory, was, maybe these guys just need to flush it and kind of move on to tomorrow. It's a new day. No, Ryan Smythe said, I want them to remember this loss. Remember how embarrassing it was for 7 errors to happen. Remember all of that and come out and do better tomorrow. Same end result, but just different ways of getting there. Hayes delivers a 2-0 for Clark. It's a breaking ball over the heart for strike 1.
And when he first told us that, at first you're like, oh, wow, you don't want to forget about a game like this. But when you think about it more, it really shows, obviously, it makes total sense because I think those guys will remember specifically how they felt playing specifically in that 8th inning.
Gatemen dugout getting a little bit chirp happy there. Brian DiDomenico, home plate umpire, needed to tell him to settle down. Runner goes, fouled off and out of play.
I believe it was settle down with the cat noises.
Yeah,
if I heard that
I think that's what or it might have been enough with the cat noise. Either way.
And the whole Gatemen dugout, they're still laughing about that. And some people asked us today, what was the spirit? What is the spirit like? The state of this team after the loss last night and the losing streak? Well, the fact that they're having fun, and I don't know what those cat noises really consist of.
Well,
but
the 5-1 lead probably helps that out, too.
But
yeah,
that's a good sign.
2-2 to Clark. Randall pump fakes. Pitch misses outside. French wanted that one, but a payoff coming up to Levi Clark. Can you do any, fun animal impressions? Is that anything specifically, Cory?
I could try, but I'm worried for the viewers as to what they might hear.
Yeah, no, I understand.
If they get to 10 runs, maybe I'll do some animal noises.
3-2, fouled off. One more payoff coming up. Now we've got some chirping from the Cotuit dugout. Brian DiDomenico is hearing it from both sides. On the Cotuit side, that's Lauren Hibbs. Head coach, it's his first year with the Kettleers. Another payoff for Clark. Got him looking, throw down to second is not in time.
A good job by Hayes to come back with that breaking ball after he didn't get the call on the previous pitch. Located it better there, inner part of the plate. No chance for French to throw out Randall on a breaking ball from his knees. So obviously you get the out, but now you do have a chance with a runner in scoring position for a really hot bat in Hunter Carnes.
Good news. You got a guy in scoring position. 2 outs here in the second for Carnes. One of the hottest hitters in this lineup. First pitch lines that one over into right field. Long run for Stevens. He won't get there. Randall rounds third. He heads home. Throw is cut off. And the Gatemen strike again. 6-1 here in the second. An RBI single from Hunter Carnes. He's got 2 hits in 2 innings.
The errors last night were certainly contagious for the Gatemen. Here tonight, the hits seem to be contagious through just about 2 innings of work. Carnes certainly hasn't crushed the 2 hits he's gotten, but he's putting the ball in play and he's getting rewarded. The way he has played, it's about time. Credit him. Guy in scoring position, doing what he can to drive him in. First pitch swinging. And another great job to drive in a run for the Gatemen.
That's why that stolen base from Randall was so important. It's his 5th of the season, moved him into scoring position. He's still on first. Probably only gets him over to third, and then it would be up to McHugh to try and drive him in. He already has an RBI today. 1-0, misses downstairs. McHugh tied for the team lead with 3 home runs. It's him and Levi Clark. 2-0. Fastball misses upstairs.
You know, to go back, you talked about the noises from both dugouts, and we've talked about the history of winning between these both squads. Obviously, new teams every year, but 2 West Division, I think you could call them rivals with their past success, their divisional proximity.
3-0 in the zone for strike 1.
And, you know, listen, they are
the players
two.
might not be very familiar with each other, but the programs are and the teams
Sure.
are, the history is. As soon as you kind of put on the jersey, you know what you're representing and the lineage of players that came before you, coaches, teammates. 3-1 misses inside, 5-pitch walk for McHugh.
And yes, they are the 2 bottom teams in the West as of right now, but as we approach the halfway mark of the season, these wins start to mean more and more, especially against divisional opponents. 2 teams that have only played now twice this summer, but still, I think, obviously, given some of the history, Cotuit eliminated Wareham in the playoffs last year. We talked about Ryan Smythe. In the second game of the season, he said he wasn't viewing it as a revenge game against the Kettleers, but still, when you're in the same division as a team, when you're both trying to move up in the standings, things may be going your way, things may not be going your way. Emotions and tensions may run a little bit high.
Yeah, you mentioned just the second game of the season. The first one came back at Lowell Park. Cotuit came away with a 2-1 win. That was an extra innings, walk-off for the Kettleers. But now over these next couple weeks, as this season, about halfway through, a game between these 2 squads at least once a week. Today, next Thursday, the following Friday, and then the Friday after that on August 1st. Third to last game of the season for the 2 squads. They better get familiar with themselves, and with how tight this West Division is, those games could matter a whole lot more down at the end of the season than, maybe they do right now.
Absolutely, and because, the non-league matchups, sometimes they don't really make a huge dent in the standings because some East Division teams beat other West Division teams, so there's not a whole lot of change.
1 fouled off.
But when you're losing games against divisional opponents, there's going to be a ripple effect one way or another because someone's going to gain ground and someone's going to lose ground. So that's why when you get into play within your own division, the games matter even more because it's going to have an effect on those standings.
That's why this weekend was so important for the Gatemen, and just a lot of unlucky games, plays, at-bats. Came against Wareham, back-to-back against Bourne, Falmouth yesterday, Cotuit today. Chopper over to third, but foul for Colby Turner. But that's 4 straight against West opponents. Makes things really difficult when you drop the first 3 to maintain your positioning. I mean, this was a squad that was in second place in the West just earlier this week, maybe a week prior as well.
And especially we talked about the weather plenty yesterday, but that one game against Bourne coming on Thursday, to not come away with that win when you were leading when the game was called because of the weather, really tough. But obviously a win here tonight, and you forget about some of those struggles.
0-2 to Turner, flies that one into deep left field. Drifting back is West, and he watches that one leave the yard. 3-run jack for Colby Turner, and he's broken this game wide open.
Confidence. Continue to talk about it. It's contagious, and it's a great thing when it's going right for you. Colby Turner already brought up how the bat is starting to go for him. He has the power. Colin Ritchie found his swing. Turner certainly found his swing. Hanging breaking ball just left in the zone. Turn on it on the inner part of the plate. And now you're starting to see, listen, There have been games where this Gateman lineup has definitely showed up, but you're seeing the potential it has when all of these guys really start to click. I think you go back, Ryan Smythe also told us last night, he's been saying it, but he emphasized it with us last night. He said, I know the talent's there. I know the talent's there. Well, you're seeing the talent right now.
5 in the first, 4 more here in the second. 3 straight balls for Hayes. Yost quickly ahead. He grounded out to second back in his first AB. I mean, this is incredible. This is more like it. This is what we've all been waiting for. We've been waiting for it. The fans have been waiting for it. The players, the coaches, everybody has been waiting for this. 9-1 lead. Just an inning and 2/3 in. 3-1 misses high, and Yost works a walk.
So, Josh, I said if they scored 10, I would make an animal
We're dangerously close to that position,
boy.
Cory.
Oh, boy.
Do you have an animal of choice that you're ready to go to?
Well, I'll let you think about which one you maybe want to hear.
No. This is up to you. This is your decision.
I think I have some versatility, so you pull one out. I think I'll try and rise up to the challenge of producing the noise.
I understand. Here's Colin Ritchie. Electrifying home run back in the first. Takes a fastball in for strike 1.
And James Hayes came into this game with a 2.38 ERA. It's not like they're doing this against a pitcher who had struggled so far this summer. That's the other thing for the Gatemen to really be proud of themselves for. Pitchers, just like teams, obviously go through bad days, but if you just ride the trend and the numbers, James Hayes out of Stetson was coming in off a really good start to the summer in the previous 3 games he started.
That ERA's up to now on nearly 8.5. 1-1 breaking ball finds the inside corner for strike 2. Yeah, Hayes came in having a really strong season. 11 in the 3rd innings, sub-3 ERA. Here's his 1-2, misses high. Incredible how quickly the tides can change, across 2 days of a baseball season. 2-2, breaking ball, got Ritchie looking. He's down on strikes, and that ends the second. 4 more runs plated from Wareham, and the Gatemen have exploded to a 9-1 lead heading into the third right here on Cape League TV.
If you need to dig, lift, move, grade, clear, or cut, pump, weld, clean, light, and just about anything else, dial up the rental source for the newest and the most reliable equipment in New England. Staffed with equipment and construction experts, Milton Rents, your local source.
As the sponsor of tonight's game, PCT Federal Credit Union is proud to root for the home team. We're thrilled to offer great rates on auto loans, home equity lines of credit, and so much more. Visit us on Cranberry Highway in West Wareham.
Reed Custom Soils, a subsidiary of the AD Makepeace Company, is New England's most experienced precision soil blender. Reed is the leading provider of the lightweight planting soil for green roof installations, stabilized stone dust for nature paths and pedestrian walkways, bioretention, rain garden soils, and specialized soils for athletic fields, including your newly renovated Spillane Field. To learn more, visit reedcustomsoils.com.
Shameless Plug Electric, hitting home runs on every job. Wareham's top choice for electrical work. Call Shameless Plug Electric.
Top of the third, and the Gatemen are out strong here after 2 innings. 9-1 Wareham lead, thanks to that 3-run jack from Colby Turner, the third baseman. Wareham has exploded, and now it's up to the defense to try and keep it at an 8-run cushion. Third inning starts, lefty on lefty. Consiglio deals a breaking ball that misses upstairs to Anderson French.
We always kind of raise the question of what is sitting for a long period of time due to a pitcher in Consiglio who's looked pretty good so far today. But he's always going to take the run support, and you still got to execute on the mound, but you can really take a deep breath and really just focus on playing catch with Hunter Carnes when you have an 8-run lead.
Well, he had to sit for a while back after the first inning. After those 5 runs, there's a weak nubber over and played on by Carnes. French is retired quickly for the first out. But, I mean, this inning shouldn't feel any different to him than the second did. 8 batters reached for the Gatemen in the first, same in the second. So he's got another opportunity to put a donut on the board. Keep Cotuit to just that 1 run as the top of the order comes back up for the second time through, and a fastball misses downstairs to Advincula.
And we talked about the lefties they have in their lineup, but when you score 19 runs, you don't need to change a whole lot up, and obviously a lot of those lefties are producing for Cotuit, but if you're Consiglio, use that as an advantage, a blessing that, listen, in an ideal world, you're just as effective lefties versus righties, but really try and use that platoon advantage to your advantage and get some easy outs just to breeze through innings and make things easier on yourself.
7 of these 9 Kettleer batters played in that contest yesterday against Brewster. Came out with a 19-3 win. One of them, Advincula, lines one out into center. Hayden Yost makes the grab for the second out. The only 2 that had the day off yesterday, Nolan Stevens, the right fielder, French playing behind home plate defensively. Everybody else played their part in that win over the Whitecaps, and what a win it was. Now, on the other end of it here, early on in this one, 9-1 lead for the Gatemen. First pitch misses inside to Bogenpole.
And it really is interesting. You mentioned it, Josh, but just kind of how things have sort of flip-flopped. We're only now 2.5 innings into this game, but still.
Chopper over to first. Clark on the backhand. Flip over to Consiglio, and that retires the side. Back-to-back innings of 1, 2, 3 for Cooper Consiglio. Keep Cotuit to just the 1 run. Gatemen coming up to plate a few more here in the third on Cape League TV.
Getting a good personal injury attorney is very difficult. If you or a family member has been involved in an accident, hurt at work, suffered a slip and fall, or have been injured due to negligence of someone else, contact the lawyers at Reedy, Kiernan, and McNally, LLP today. They are experienced trial attorneys who practice in all of the courts in the Commonwealth. The firm has been recognized by Best Lawyers in America for outstanding legal representation. Contact Reedy, Kiernan, and McNally, LLP today. The firm is located at 267 Main Street in Wareham. Reedy, Kiernan, and McNally, LLP also has offices in New Bedford and Falmouth. Call 508-295-0286 or visit their website, www.rkm-law.com.
Gatemen coming back up here to bat here in the third, and the fans are pretty energetic here from Spillane Field. Nate Wallenhopt, one of the interns, having a lot of fun. He's excited for what the Gatemen have done through these first 2 innings of action.
That's
Cory.
what 9 runs, I guess, will do to you. Oh, he was going through it yesterday, as we all were, after the tough game for the Gatemen, but a 9-1 lead through 2.5 innings. This is the kind of excitement that you just love to see your fans having.
I mean, that's somebody too, Cory, that's been so familiar with the Gatemen. He's been a part of a host family. He's done so much for this team over the years. To see this outburst, after the first 18 games of the season, 6-12, he's got to be pretty happy with himself. I'll say that. Kettleers making a pitching change. James Hayes exits. Bo Sampson enters. The lefty comes in to face 8-9-1 for the Wareham lineup, Sheehan, Cruson, and Randall.
Just his second game of the summer for Sampson. Southpaw out of Oklahoma at 6'6", 230. Has pitched 2 innings and earned run in his last outing. Did throw 50 pitches in what at the moment is kind of a mop-up role for the Gatemen. Obviously, they faced a righty, now facing a southpaw, just trying to keep the momentum going against a pitcher with a different dominant arm.
But at the same time, though, Cory, you have to think, well, yeah, we're up by 8, but no lead is safe, at least in this moment, with how these last couple games have gone. Thinking back to Chatham back earlier this week, 9-0 lead for the Anglers after just 3 innings. Yes, they held on, but it shows that teams can still hit off of this pitching staff at some points. So this offense cannot let up in any way, shape, or form. Sheehan takes that one outside, 1 ball and a strike.
Yeah, they say complacency kills, and that's obviously the last thing you want to happen if you're the Gatemen. On the other side, maybe that's happened a little bit for Cotuit tonight. You score 19 runs. You have that feeling of invincibility. Well, all of a sudden, the tables have turned.
Sheehan hit by a pitch, moves him over to first. And now the leadoff man on for the second straight inning for the Gatemen.
And if the Gatemen keep getting base runners, it seems like they're not going to stop scoring runs. And they'll take those sort of free base runners on walks or hit by pitches. The bats have obviously come alive.
Well, that was the thing that we had talked about a couple of those times that the Gatemen hit solo home runs, Cory, right? I mean, Chris McHugh had one at Bourne a few days ago, and all we could say was, man, they just can't drive in these guys on home runs when there's a few already on base. Just so many solo shots. Couple home runs already today. 2-run homer, 3-run homer as well. Nobody getting left on base. I mean, this is the kind of baseball that you have to imagine offensively that Ryan Smythe, Mike Mobbs, the hitting coach, are just loving to see early on in this contest against the Kettleers. Sampson deals. 1-1 to Cruson. Shallow into center field. Triangle forming. Who's going to grab it? And a nice play made from Farber drifting over. And he makes the grab for the first out.
You said it, nice play. Kind of into no man's land, but to go back to the home runs, listen, you take the runners off of base in those situations for Ritchie and Turner. You take 3 runs off the board. The 6-1 lead, still pretty sizable, but
it's not nearly the same as what it is now.
It's a whole lot different from 9-1.
Braden Randall's third at bat in as many innings. This time lefty on lefty. Sampson, the University of Oklahoma product, and his fastball misses upstairs. This will be his second summer with the Kettleers. Went 1-0 in 2 games for Cotuit last summer. Have to imagine it's pretty nice for him to be back with the same squad 12 months later. Breaking ball finds the zone.
And kind of what we talked about with the Gatemen in that Chatham game when the bullpen entered into that one. It's sort of the same assignment for Sampson. Just obviously you're losing by 8, but give the team some length. Try and make it at least possible to start up a rally and get back into this one.
1-1 fastball at the belt for Randall. He's 1 for 2, singled in the second, stole a base after. Came in to score on the Hunter Carnes RBI single. Behind 1-2, fouls one off straight back into the netting. Last season with the Kettleers, Sampson went 4 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, neither earned. Struck out 6 and walked just 1, so finished the year with a 0.00 ERA. 1-2, skied into center field. Drifting over to his right is Bogan Pole and makes the grab in left center for the second out.
Ball definitely has a little bit of carry, it seems like, so far tonight. Obviously, the home runs from Ritchie and Turner were kind of no-doubters anyways, but that ball from Braden Randall seemed like it took Bogenpole a little further back than he initially expected. Bit of a warmer night coming in. but it certainly played to the offense's advantage so far.
78 degrees and sunny. Beautiful night here from Spillane Field. First pitch to Clark is a breaking ball that misses outside. Definitely some better weather than the last couple nights have provided. These couple days, that is. Rain outs, and then I know yesterday it was pretty hot when we were in Falmouth. 1-0, lined over down the third baseline, but foul.
And we talked about it too earlier on, but the fact that the Gatemen could come back to Spillane Field and not have to wonder if they would be playing a game because of the power issues.
Yeah, there was a lot going on this week for Wareham. Friday was no exception. Made things interesting, ended up losing. Whiff there from Clark. But it's got to be tough to try and, get your mind right and focus in when you don't know if you're going to be playing and you're getting told so many different things. I mean, 3 different start times at one point, at least as potentials, and you end up playing at 7. Lights come on midway through the game, and kind of got to go from there.
Yeah, whether it's potential rain out or power out, whatever it might be, it's tough when you're just kind of sitting and hanging around to have to all of a sudden on a fly adjust and start preparing even just mentally to playing a game.
2-2. Big swing and a miss from Clark. He's down on strikes, and that ends the inning. Gatemen strand Randall, first inning with a goose egg, and yet Wareham still leads Cotuit 9-1 after 3 innings, heading into the 4th on Cape League TV.
Law. Live, life, law. Covering all residential and commercial real estate matters. You live life to the fullest and let us sync law. That's synclaw.com. Sync with an I, not a Y. Be selfish. We represent only you.
Sports Turf Specialties has set the standard for high-quality natural grass athletic field construction. As a full-service athletic field construction company, we specialize in design, build, and renovation of native soil, modified soil, and sand-based athletic fields. Our team will provide you with superior quality, expert guidance, and continuing support long after the completion of our project. We are proud to have built the infield for the Wareham Gatemen field. Go Gatemen.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group, protecting the possible.
Back at Spillane Field, it's the 4th inning of action between the Kettleers and the Gatemen, and Wareham has exploded. 9 runs in the first 3 innings. We'll take a look at some of the other scores around Cape Cod. Brewster is handling Hyannis 7-0 in the 6th. Bourne and Orleans knotted at 0 in the 3rd. Harwich with a narrow 2-run lead in the 7th. And Falmouth and Chatham just moments away from getting underway from Veterans Field. A couple of those scores going to be pretty important for the Gatemen when you just look around and what else has been going on. Hyannis on the brink of losing. Falmouth about to kick off. Got to start winning some of these games.
And listen, there's obviously 3 other teams the Gatemen have to leapfrog before they can get to Hyannis, but the fact that you could have a first-place team at like 9-7, and then at that point Hyannis is kind of starting to think, do we deserve to be in first place? So, listen, you don't want to get complacent, but it could be a lot worse off for the Gatemen having lost 5 straight positionally in the standings.
Harbor Hawks at 9-7-3. Or 9-6-3 now, could be 9-7-3 if that score holds. So definitely a spot where, the Gatemen have already beaten the Harbor Hawks and beat them pretty badly on their home field. Of course, Hyannis did the same to Wareham on opening day, but, a lot's changed since then. Even a lot has changed since that second game of the season. But you get into a spot late July, early August, and the Gatemen have to think to themselves, if they're in a playoff position, we can really go out and beat any of these teams on any given night.
Especially the way they've played tonight.
Fastball down the middle for Dean West. Singled back in the first, and then picked off shortly after.
And for the Gatemen to really start to climb and challenge some of these teams, they have to kind of go in the opposite direction in terms of streaks. And listen, it's tough to have a prolonged win streak in this league. YD was able to do it earlier in the season. It doesn't have to be a 7-8 game win streak, but it maybe has to be win 5 of 7, win 7 of 9.
1-1, lined into right center. It's down. Yost cuts it off, bobbles the ball, ends up in the hands of Cruson, and West has to hold up. He thought it was fielded cleanly. Either way, he's satisfied with a single.
Dean West is really the only Cotuit batter so far tonight that has squared up Consiglio. Pitch inner part of the plate. Just kind of sitting up there, got his hands through it pretty quickly, turned on it. He's 2 for 2 tonight. Consiglio last time West was on, obviously Farber had walked ahead of him. The control kind of escaped him for a pitch or two. Just keep in mind you have that 8-run lead. Just stay around the plate.
Check over. Late tag applied from Clark. So Clark over at first base. And, Cory, something that, we've recently learned and, are kind of still learning about is that Levi Clark, primarily a catcher this past season at Tennessee. That was his position coming in, especially when he joined the Gatemen this summer. But Volunteers might want him to transition over to first base next year, so might be why we're seeing a lot of work, or at least in the last few days, a lot of work over at first base.
And listen, Levi Clark is definitely a very good defensive catcher, but when you're playing baseball, especially in the SEC, like a school at Tennessee, it's tough to get your way into the lineup because there's so many good players across the diamond. And Levi Clark knows that better than most people. He had to fight just to get at-bats consistently and starts consistently this past spring. But listen, if there's a bigger hole, vacant spot at first for Tennessee, that's because they want to get his bat in the lineup. We've even seen it at Wareham. That's why he's played out in left field.
Big swing and a miss from Natilli. He's quickly behind in the count.
And first base is kind of seems like the de facto spot to put a lot of people when they need a defensive change to get their bat in the lineup, but that doesn't make it easy.
I mean, that's a bat that you have to have in the lineup, no matter if it's college, NCAA, Division I, SEC, CCBL. I mean, that really doesn't matter. 0-2, Natilli fouls it off.
But as a catcher, it's a pretty, I don't want to say flawless, but more natural transition because a lot of the skills are somewhat the same. You're receiving a lot of throws like you're receiving pitches from the mound. Have to dig a lot of balls out of the dirt on low throws, so there's an adjustment. But Levi Clark's a tremendous athlete, and it's one I think he'll be able to make.
Consiglio, a couple looks over, now deals for home, and Natilli fouls it back and out of play.
I think where that potentially factors in for the Gatemen is, listen, he'll still play behind the plate too, but you only have two catchers, so how many games in a row is Hunter Carnes going to be able to go?
But that's the thing, too. If Hunter Carnes isn't as comfortable at first base or any other position, or, you have somebody else that you want to be the designated hitter for that night, you kind of almost have to stick Carnes in behind home because of how well he's been hitting. He's 2 for 2 tonight. His batting average just continues to rise. Came in at 353 all the way up to 421. Clark's hitting just shy of 300. And he's 0 for 2, so he's certainly not somebody that you can really, kind of live without, especially, losing Ty Daly, losing a couple of those other hitters that, have helped out the Gatemen so far this season. 0-2 misses upstairs.
And it will also help Levi Clark, I think, in terms of long-term plans in the MLB draft, because we've seen a lot of guys, Henry Ford of Chatham, the first to come to mind, he's learned different outfield positions just to increase his draft stock because his bat's his biggest attribute. Well, versatility is really just an added bonus.
Well, even Ty Daly, who played outfield at Mercer primarily over in right field, left field, that's where he's been a couple of times for the Gatemen, but he's played a handful of games at first as well, showcasing, his ability to play a corner infield position. That's got to help. Runner goes, lined over into left field and down for a base hit. Natilli gets his first knock. West moves over to second. 2 on and 1 out here in the fourth for Cotuit.
Tilly just turned through that one, got a pitch on the inside part of the plate. Looked like he was almost sitting on that one. Good swing. 2 hits back-to-back, hit pretty hard. Another pitch that just stayed up in the zone. Easy for Natilli to square up. Rare situation where a run and hit doesn't work to your advantage, just playing station to station. And besides kind of the first, Cotuit now is, after 2 quiet innings, regained some traffic on the base path.
2 on, 1 out after back-to-back 1-2-3 innings for Consiglio. So now starting to find himself in a similar position that he was in the first. A couple guys have reached. First time that it's been with less than 2 outs, though. Retired Advincula and Bougainville back-to-back to start off the game. Then a walk, single, and a hit by pitch. West then picked off. It's Cotuit's only run of the game. Now he's behind 2-0 on Camden Johnson. Popped out to short. Back in his first at-bat. Long way to go for the Kettleers, but it could start here. Consiglio heads home as 2-0, is lined into left field. Hanging up there for Richie, he makes the grab.
That's what Consiglio needed just to get back in the out column. Listen, you obviously have some room to bend a little bit up by 8, but just try and post as many zeros as you can. Try and count down the outs. Obviously, it's not going to really feel like the Gatemen have snapped this skid until the final out is made. So for Consiglio to come up big, the location has looked good despite the traffic. Probably helped by the lead, but a big out number 2.
He's an out away from 3 straight scoreless innings. It's got to feel good for Consiglio. First pitch misses down and in for Stevens. Consiglio so far this season, every start has gotten a little bit better as he's gone along. Started out a little rough, but has really worked to continue to improve. That first time out came against Chatham, 3 1/3 innings. 4 hits, 4 runs, all of them earned. Then 4 1/3 against Harwich, 2 hits, 2 runs, neither of them earned. 3 1/3 against Orleans, just 1 earned run. Keeps on lowering his ERA. At this point now down in the mid-3s. Breaking ball over the heart of the plate, it's 1-2.
And I talked about it when we first mentioned Consiglio today. If he can locate, he's going to be effective because he establishes his fastball early in the count and then can use that breaking ball that has a lot of movement, whether slider, curveball. If he's around the zone, he's really effective.
He's ahead on Stevens here. 1-2, lined over into center and down. Big turn from West. He's headed home. Throw in is cut off by Braden Randall at second. And Cotuit plates its second run of the game. Runners stay on the corners, and it's a 9-2 Gatemen advantage.
It seems like the times that Consiglio's gotten burned tonight has been when he's tried to get a pitch inner part of the plate, and it's just kind of sat there for a little too long. Look like another instance there to Camden Johnson. You see it right there, just a breaking ball that sat up on the inner part of the plate. More times than not, these hitters are going to be able to get that pitch and square it up.
Sanderson drills one over to second. Sheehan dives at the bag. He got him.
Wow.
Heads up play from Vance Sheehan. And the Gatemen escape the fourth with just 1 run allowed. 9-2 lead for Wareham heading into the home half on Cape League TV.
Turf Specialties has set the standard for high-quality natural grass athletic field construction. As a full-service athletic field construction company, we specialize in design, build, and renovation of native soil, modified soil, and sand-based athletic fields. Our team will provide you with superior quality, expert guidance, and continuing support long after the completion of our project. We are proud to have built the infield for the Wareham Gatemen field. Go Gatemen.
There hasn't been a ton of training when it comes to bat speed or products for players to be able to train bat speed. You can improve your bat speed and reach your goals working 10 to 15 minutes a day on this a couple of times a week. That's a no-brainer for every player. You can make any bat feel lighter by adding a velo puck knob. Instead of having to go get a whole entirely new bat, you can simply add the puck to it. Players can use this with any bat. It's basically going to shift the weight of the bat a little bit more towards the hands. Players are able to hit the ball a lot harder just by simply adding the puck on.
We're back at Spillane Field. We got a nice view of one of our camera operators, thanking him for a lot of hard work that he's done for the Gatemen so far this season. And the Gatemen are really giving him a reward, giving all the fans here a reward. 9-2 lead over Cotuit. And now with a chance to tack on a few more here in the fourth with them up to bat.
Yeah, obviously couldn't have a broadcast without Michael and these other camera operators, so we want to thank them for all the work they've put in this summer so far. But, what a game we've all been blessed to see, us and the Wareham faithful.
First pitch fastball misses down and into Carnes. He's ahead 1-0. Yeah, Cory, thankful to have a broadcast today. Obviously, 2 days ago, last home game, unable to. Difficult spot. Not having power until, third, fourth inning of that contest against Bourne. Thankfully, the lights came on, and the Braves and the Gatemen could finish that game. Carnes sends one out into deep right field, and a nice grab from Nolan Stevens along the line for the first out here in the fourth. Stevens covered a lot of ground, and he made the grab.
He did, and Hunter Carnes talked about it earlier, has that ability, kind of that line-to-line power, can beat you by going down the line. We've seen him go into left center and right center, now down the line and getting into the corner, approaching the wall. It's always a tough play for those outfielders. Stevens made it look easy.
First pitch to Chris McHugh, chops that foul and into the Gateman dugout. He's really been on a hot streak, hasn't he, Carnes, over these last few games? Had the 2 singles in the first and second inning. Yesterday had a home run. Go back a couple games before that. Had 2 doubles. McHugh chops one foul nearly in the same spot. Behind 0-2.
It really is a luxury when you have 2 catchers who are swinging the bat as well as Carnes and Levi Clark are. And Clark learning first base could pay dividends for the Gatemen, too. Obviously, it's the spot where Chris McHugh has played, but it allows Hunter Carnes to just keep getting those at-bats behind home plate.
McHugh down looking on 3 pitches. But McHugh's somebody that's played a lot of first base and now in that DH role. If he's comfortable being that designated hitter, you can kind of afford to play Clark over at first. And if he needs that day off, you can take him out, sub somebody else in. But seeing some of these bats that, weren't as hot over these last 2 or 3 weeks really come alive over the last couple of days. Colby Turner, one of them. Colin Ritchie, his first home run of the season. Chase Cruson has 2 hits in back-to-back games. 0-1, line, foul down the left field line.
Yeah, the versatility from these players only serves to benefit you because it just gives you more options as a manager, whether guys are hot, whether they're cold. Gives you more lineup options, can try new things out when you need a spark at a certain point in the lineup. And obviously it allows you to give guys some breaks, change things up, so it's just an added bonus. And Colby Turner's just kind of the epitome of versatility, obviously.
Turner's hitting 5th today, so definitely somebody that's been boosted in the lineup in terms of order based on his previous couple of games. Multi-hits now in the last 3. 4-game hit streak as well. Home run against Bourne on Independence Day, that last home game. Double yesterday against Falmouth. Now has 1 of each here today against Cotuit. Behind 1-2, lines one over to short. Almost ate up Farber, spun and made the throw. Nice play from Farber. He goes 6-3 to end the 4th. Heading into the top of the 5th, it's still a 9-2 Gatemen lead on Cape League TV.
On behalf of the Cape Cod Baseball League,
Wareham-based AD Makepeace Company, founded in 1854, is North America's largest cranberry grower and recognized leader in environmentally responsible real estate development and land stewardship. For 171 years, AD Makepeace Company has supported community events and organizations like your Wareham Gatemen. Visit admakepeace.com to learn more.
Cape Cod 5 is proud to be the official banking partner of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod 5 offers a broad range of financial products and services tailored for every stage in your financial journey. Reach out to us. We're here to help.
For a good piece of glass, call Abby, located at 3 Tyler Ave in East Wareham. Call Abby Glass and Locks about getting a free quote for your windows, doors, locks, and other glass needs.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we know there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. Now that's how we all win. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
Head on over for pickup or let them deliver to you.
Fifth inning from Spillane Field. Cotuit coming back up to bat. Plated one in the fourth. Had one already back in the first. Still trailing Wareham 9-2. And Consiglio back on the mound. Fifth inning of action about to start, and he just keeps dealing. Just a third of an inning away from tying his season high.
It's been a really impressive outing for him. Even when he's faced some base runner traffic, he's been able to bounce back, maintain that location, let his pitch mix speak for itself.
And no strikeouts for him either. That's a soft flare over into shallow center field and a diving grab from Braden Randall. Way to put your body on the line. Braden Randall with a nifty first out here in the fifth.
Well, Vance Shane made that unbelievable play to end the top of the fourth, up the middle, won the race to the bag. This is a really tough play, too. Credit Randall. He's battling the sun a little bit. You have to judge right off the bat how far that ball is going to be into the outfield. Randall's only about 5'7" or so credit him. He got up there.
I mean, on a good day, too. I mean, he's certainly not the tallest in stature. Made up for it there. Somersaulted into center field. A nice play. Pair of plays over these last two top innings from the middle infield. Top of the order, Advincula sends one into center field. Yost drifts back. It's over his head. It one hops the wall. Advincula stops at second in a one-out double for the leadoff man. His first hit of the day. Cotuit with a man in scoring position.
Highlighted early how potent Advincula's bat is. That's just a shot into the outfield on a line. No chance for Yost. Just such a dangerous bat. Obviously, it's not going to matter as much in a 9-2 game at the moment. But to go back to the lack of strikeouts from Consiglio, it's almost sort of, I think, a good thing for the Gatemen to prove, though, defensively they were ready to show up, and they have showed up.
Yes, 7 errors yesterday against Falmouth. None so far here tonight. Of course, we can only really knock on wood to keep that alive. No announcer's jinx here. And they weren't pretty errors either. I mean, it was just a lot of, there were a couple of those that, we were looking at each other and just kind of shaking our heads. Definitely something that could have been made, and, 9 days out of 10 probably does get made. 1-0. Big foul off and into the netting for Bogenpol.
And as the game got later, we got into the bottom of the eighth. A lot of those mistakes were mental mistakes. I had a coach always say, listen, physical mistakes are obviously going to happen because we're all human. No one's going to make every single play, but the mental errors are really what you have to eliminate. Just kind of the nature of that game in the eighth inning. That's kind of what led to some of those mental blunders, I think.
Yeah, 4 runs put up from the Gatemen. Advincula heads off for third. Throw down from Carnes. Drifts all the way into left field, and it gets by. Advincula comes in to score. Turner held him up as long as he could. And an errant throw from Carnes. There's the first error of the game. Cotuit plates its third run of the contest. It's 9-3 Gatemen here in the fifth.
That's why I want to keep Advincula off base. Even with the lefty in the batter's box, still plenty of confidence to swipe third. Carnes' throw just well offline, as you saw. And Advincula doing it all to get the Kettleers that third run.
He stole 13 bases this past season at Cal. So far this year, he was at 9. That one marked 10. Having a pretty productive season on the base paths as well. 2-2, cut on and missed. Big swing from Bogenpol. He's down on strikes.
And listen, You want to avoid any unnecessary runs coming in if you're the Gatemen. But at the same time, Consiglio's been able to bear down pretty well when he's had runners on base. I think he'd almost prefer the bases being empty as opposed to having runners on, because that's when he's really looked sharp, when he's had no traffic on those base paths.
First strikeout of the game for Consiglio. Now 4 2/3 in, new season high. Consiglio kind of treated as that third starter, at least, through the order. It was Daniel Powell game 1, Chase Richter game 2, and Consiglio had that third contest of the season. Came against Chatham. Certainly didn't end in the Gatemen's favor. 9-2 loss to the Anglers. Since then has just kept on getting better. 1-1. Breaking ball misses outside.
And over the course of the 4 2/3 innings tonight, this is, to me, seems like his best game in terms of the location consistently. Besides a couple of bad pitches in the first, he's been right around the plate throughout this entire contest.
This will be his 74th, and it misses inside for ball 3. Have to imagine that this is probably going to be it for him, at least inning-wise. He would qualify for the win with a lower pitch count after 4. Certainly something that he was probably pushing for. 3-1. Farber takes it at the belt. 3-2.
And he's got Dean West on deck, who's 2 for 2 off of him. A couple of hard-hit base hits. So I think if you're Consiglio, yes, you got the righty Farber who's swinging a hot bat, but 6-run lead. West on deck, right not go at him.
Here's the payoff with 2 outs. Misses all the way up and away. And out of Carnes' glove. 2-out base runner here for Consiglio to bring up West. Here comes Eric Luxus, the pitching coach for the Gatemen. See if he signals over to the bullpen down in left field. Looks like that's going to be it for Consiglio. And Luxus makes it official. Takes the ball from his southpaw. And a huge ovation from the Gatemen faithful. New arm coming in for Wareham here in the 5th. 9-3 Gatemen lead with 1 on and 2 outs for the Kettleers. Stay tuned on Cape League TV.
Legacy Insurance has been servicing Wareham and the surrounding areas since 1980. Call Legacy Insurance for all your insurance needs at 508-295-1315. Legacy Insurance, your hometown agency.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings. They're ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
When it comes to protecting your home, car, or business, trust the team that's been covering our community for generations. For personalized coverage and service that you can count on, the choice is easy. It's Morse, of course. Visit morseins.com today.
Cooper Consiglio's day ends after 4 2/3 innings. He's responsible for Ryan Farber. He stands on first with 2 outs here in the 5th. And in comes another lefty. It's Hudson Rowan.
I like the move to keep a lefty in this game when you have 7 lefties in the opposing lineup. Rowan at 2.53 ERA, now in his 5th game all out of the bullpen. And he showed you that he can go multiple innings as a guy out of the bullpen, so can give you some depth. For him, it's sort of a similar thing to Consiglio. He has to locate. He's got a great fastball, can work off of that with the secondary pitches. If he's around the zone, he's going to be effective.
Runner goes, throw down from Carnes, a lot more accurate that time, and he got Farber running. 1 pitch from Hudson Rowan, and he's already out of the inning. 9-3 lead for the Gatemen heading into the home half of the 5th on Cape League TV.
If you need to dig, lift, move, grade, clear, or cut, pump, weld, clean, light, and just about anything else. Dial up the rental source for the newest and the most reliable equipment in New England. Staffed with equipment and construction experts. Milton Rents, your local source.
As the sponsor of tonight's game, PCT Federal Credit Union is proud to root for the home team. We're thrilled to offer great rates on auto loans, home equity lines of credit, and so much more. Visit us on Cranberry Highway in West Wareham.
Reed Custom Soils, a subsidiary of the AD Makepeace Company, is New England's most experienced precision soil blender. Reed is the leading provider of the lightweight planting soil for green roof installations, stabilized stone dust for nature paths and pedestrian walkways, bioretention rain garden soils, and specialized soils for athletic fields, including your newly renovated Spillane Field. To learn more, visit reedcustomsoils.com.
Shameless Plug Electric, hitting home runs on every job. Wareham's top choice for electrical work. Call Shameless Plug Electric.
Insurance has been servicing Wareham and the surrounding areas since 1980. Call Legacy Insurance for all your insurance needs at 508-295-1315. Legacy Insurance, your hometown agency.
Gatemen coming up to bat here in the fifth. It'll be the bottom end of this order, Yost, Richie, Sheehan. But for more on what the Gatemen have been doing every time a run has come in to score, it's our sideline reporter, Rayna Maggelet.
Thanks, Josh. So the Gatemen have a new tradition I think we're possibly starting for the rest of the season. Colby Turner decided to bring in one of those triangle instruments to hit every time the Gatemen get a run. There was kind of some jokes in the dugout saying we're not really going to hit it as we're on a losing streak, but we started the first 2 innings, 5 runs, 4 runs. We're up 9-3 right now. So it's been hit quite a lot and hopefully hit a few more times the rest of this game. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Rayna. Cory, that's got to be a pretty fun...
I love that idea.
I like that
really
too,
do.
yeah.
Especially, obviously, something to get your mojo back. It seems like we've seen over the many years Major League teams try different things out. Back in 2017, the Yankees had the thumbs down. I believe the Red Sox had the shopping cart a few years ago.
Yeah, it was the laundry cart is what it was. They did it in 2021. Every home run got to take a ride down the dugout. This year they're doing a Wally head for every home run.
So it's just, and listen, some teams start that when they're not on a losing streak, but I think that's a great idea to turn to kind of in a jovial sense.
Yost drills that one down the right field line, and it's just foul.
He was getting ready to ding that cowbell.
Oh, that would have been close, Cory. That would have been close.
If it was fair, it was gone right into that Cotuit visitors bullpen. But again, yeah, it's just something for the guys to rally behind, kind of a funny thing to remind everyone that, listen, baseball is a game. It's meant to be fun, but the thing is it only happens when they score runs, which is a good thing. So love that idea from Colby Turner.
Did you play any instruments in
I played
middle
the
school?
viola for many years.
How'd that go?
Not well.
Do you think that you could, ding the triangle pretty successfully?
Well, that's probably more up to my speed because it's fairly simplistic. You just need to tap it where you don't have all the strings and the notes and that stuff. You just have one I mean, I'm sure it's more complicated than I'm making it out to be, but you don't need to switch across the strings and the notes and the chord changes and all that fancy stuff.
Did you enjoy playing the viola? No?
Much too long. No one enjoyed listening to it, that's for sure.
So why'd you play it?
Well, I was told it would help me get me into college, but my response always was, well, not if I'm terrible at it.
I like that. That's a smart answer. I played the drums in 5th grade and then quickly gave it up after
I would love to learn
that.
to play out of the drums.
Payoff pitch to Yost. Did he offer at it? He went around. Yeah, the drums were fun until I had to learn all of the different songs. It was fun to just kind of use the sticks and just kind of go to town, but
yeah, I feel like the guitar, the drums, and the piano are just 3 really those difficult instruments you really have to learn, but I would have loved to learn how to play the drums.
I also played the recorder. That was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Hot cross buns. That was my go-to.
Yes, it was the same for me. That was something we just kind of had to learn on the side in music class. It wasn't something that, like, we had a choice to learn. So I kind of, it was sort of a supplementary thing to the viola, but it sounded just as bad for me.
We did this thing. It was called recorder karate. I don't know if it was that. And I think hot cross buns was the white belt. And then, every song that you mastered, you could kind of move up the rank. I don't remember how far I got, but it wasn't that far. Drilled over into right field. Colin Ritchie, big turn, and he halts over at first, his second hit of the day.
It is so positive and refreshing to see Ritchie finally get his bat going, because we know it's been there. Had the home run, just stays with the pitch, kind of knee height down in the zone, lifts it just high enough past the outstretched glove of Sanderson. Obviously, the playing time has dwindled a little bit. 143 entering play as opposed to the beginning of the season when he was playing a lot, but it's probably going to ratchet up a little bit after tonight's game.
Sheehan drills that one into deep center field. Drifting back is Bogan pull. He centers it, and he makes the grab.
Now batting the second baseman, number 3, Braden Randall from Mississippi.
Ritchie 2 for 3 today. Sheehan 0 for 2. That brings up Cruson. Bottom of the order for the Gatemen here in the 5th.
Batting the right fielder, number 4, Chase Cruson from Central Florida.
Lefty on lefty for Cruson. Takes the first pitch breaking ball down the middle for strike 1. Randall on deck, could be the 4th time through the order, at least start of it, in the 5th. Delivery misses outside.
And that's a sign that things are going well, obviously, but it's been kind of a whole team effort. Just about everyone has reached base safely for the Gatemen. 1 through 9, that's the sign of a dangerous team.
1-1, fastball at the top corner. Randall had that hit in the 2nd. Clark has walked. Carnes a couple of hits. McHugh, Turner, Yost walked. Ritchie the home run. Sheehan was hit by a pitch, so you can count that if you want. Cruson the only one to not make it over to first base yet today.
After he had a nice game yesterday, double off the wall, didn't miss a home run by a whole lot. And Levi Clark has struck out twice. Him and Cruson, who had a great game yesterday. You take him out of this one so far in terms of the production, still doesn't even matter. So well the Gatemen are swinging it.
Check over on him, throws late. And that home run from Ritchie was just a mammoth of a shot. 435 feet. Colby Turner's in the 360s. 1-2. Cruson hits that one sky high into the shallow infield. Advincula centers it and makes the grab. That retires the side in the 5th. And we head into the 6th with the Gatemen holding a 6-run lead. It's 9-3 Wareham. Cory Miller will take you the rest of the way right here on Cape League TV.
If you need to dig, lift, move, grade, clear, or cut, pump, weld, clean, light, and just about anything else, dial up the rental source for the newest and the most reliable equipment in New England. Staffed with equipment and construction experts, Milton Rents, your local source.
As the sponsor of tonight's game, PCT Federal Credit Union is proud to root for the home team. We're thrilled to offer great rates on auto loans, home equity lines of credit, and so much more. Visit us on Cranberry Highway in West Wareham.
Reed Custom Soils, a subsidiary of the AD Makepeace Company, is New England's most experienced precision soil blender. Reed is the leading provider of the lightweight planting soil for green roof installations, stabilized stone dust for nature paths and pedestrian walkways, bioretention, rain garden soils, and specialized soils for athletic fields, including your newly renovated Spillane Field. To learn more, visit reedcustomsoils.com.
Shameless Plug Electric, hitting home runs on every job. Wareham's top choice for electrical work. Call Shameless Plug Electric. The Gatemen are rolling here tonight, 9-3 over Cotuit. Second game of the season between these two squads. Everyone in attendance here tonight has been in store for a great game, including Jack and Jake, our two videographers. They've gotten to capture plenty of offense for the Gatemen here tonight.
I'd say they've got to be pretty happy. Definitely some stuff that they can use for their reels and resume building opportunities. A couple of nice shots. Colby Turner home run, Colin Ritchie home run.
Dean West, Jack Natilli, Camden Johnson 4-5-6 for the Kettleers. West has to dance out of the way as he pulled back the bunt attempt here in the top of the sixth. West has swung the bat well through his first two at-bats. A couple of hard-hit base hits, scored a run, was up at the plate when Ryan Farber was caught stealing in the top of the fifth. Shallow fly ball, falling fast into center field. Running even faster is Hayden Yost. He gets there for out number one.
He just seems like he's everywhere, defensively in the outfield. He just gets a great jump, great read on almost anything that's hit in his direction. Makes smart decisions. That's why he's nearly the everyday center fielder for Wareham.
The speed he possesses is really something else. As Natilli digs into the box, hit by pitch and a base hit for the DH tonight. Big swing and a miss. As Hudson Rowan is out for his presumably first full inning of work.
Only took him a pitch to get out of that fifth.
Well, that's the other thing, speaking to kind of the mojo of the team and the charisma. Obviously, the cowbell has seemed like it's done its trick so far tonight. As Rowan will pitch on this 0-1. But just the look on Hudson Rowan's face when Hunter Carnes made that throw down to second. Now, granted, Hudson Rowan's a guy day in, day out. Always seems like he's got a smile on his face. And it certainly helps the 9 runs, but it seems like the Gatemen are feeling much better about themselves than they were last night, and understandably so.
I mean, he's got a great story. He's always just so happy, so joyful, grateful to be on the Cape once again. Helps that he's pitching pretty well, too.
Yep. He's got Natilli behind in the count, 1-2. Way high, 2-2.
Rowan entered sub-3 ERA, now lowered it down to 2.38. Kind of see him a little bit off and on, a couple high leverage spots, but normally kind of that mid-reliever. Has gone multiple innings, just about all of his appearances.
And it's been kind of a mix of high leverage, maybe lower leverage. He's pitched with this team in front, behind, but regardless of the score, the ability to throw multiple solid innings out of the bullpen, it's certainly an asset when you use some of your best arms yesterday against Falmouth. Another 2-2 pitch, upstairs, full count. Camden Johnson on deck.
Well, we're into the 6th inning, and he's only the second guy out there for the Gatemen so far on the mound today. Even if he can go another 2 innings, maybe 2 1/3, that puts you at an even 7. It's pretty good.
Full count pitch, just missed. Natilli comes back to work a walk and give the Kettleers a 1-out base runner.
Rowan was ready to walk off the mound, and Carnes was ready to go around the horn. That one just missed below the knees. Now you're back. You have that platoon advantage, lefty on lefty, 4 straight at the bottom of this Kettleer lineup.
They've continued to ride with those lefty-lefty matchups. Johnson came in hitting .273 with 7 RBIs. First pitch in this at-bat. Fastball that misses low. If this game gets closer later on, wonder if we'll see any pinch hitters from this Kettleer squad. But again, after plating 19 last night, why not ride with the lineup that got the job done? Quickly 2-0 on Camden Johnson. Pop out and an RBI single for the Kettleers third baseman tonight. Natili's over at first. He walked and now a 2-0 pitch. Shallow bloop hit into the outfield. Sheehan a few steps onto the grass, an easy out. Rowan bounces back to get Johnson. Now there's 2 away.
That's some of those times that the soft contact can make things a little bit too difficult for middle infielders. Braden Randall had one over on his side. Sheehan, a little bit of an easier play for the shortstop there, but the defense is certainly coming to play for the Gatemen today. So is the pitching.
Definitely the biggest bounce back. It's probably for the defense. Nolan Stevens takes a called strike one. After we've talked about it, the 7 errors last night, certainly there were issues in terms of pitching and hitting, but compared to the defense, few and far between. The 0-1. And Ryan Smythe even said that there were a couple of scoring decisions that were ruled base hits that, could have gone either way, and things could have looked even worse in terms of the errors.
Yeah, I mean, his personal book, he said that, it was getting up there, nearing that double-digit tally.
Hard hit to the left side. Sheehan lays out. It's off of his glove. Karam's into left field. No advance past second for Natili. A tough play for the shortstop. Stevens will reach on the hit.
Even if he fields it cleanly, that's a really difficult play from Sheehan over at short. Just tried to dive out, make the grab, just kind of caromed off his glove there and into left field, but not a whole lot that he can do there either way. But just going back to talking about what Ryan Smythe mentioned, his personal book was nearing that double-digit tally in total errors. He also said, hey, if that game was at Wareham, I would hope that, our personal scorebook and, the home scorebook would call some of those hits too, because a couple of them really could have gone 50-50. But, from a biased perspective, hoping that, your players can, make some of those that get hit their way. Certainly would have liked to see a couple more of those come up with cleanly and get the putouts.
And it is obviously somewhat of a new look rotation out there today. There are definitely some carryovers in terms of starting lineup between last night. Rowan gets sets on this 1-1 pitch. Case Sanderson gets away from Carnes, has no play at either base. Natili and Stevens advance, now 2 in scoring position.
Now here's a tricky spot for Rowan. You have first base open. Case Sanderson, he's 0 for 2. Take advantage of this matchup. You're still in the count. It's only 2-1. Deliver a good pitch. Trust your defense. Get out of the inning.
Big swing and a miss. Rowan a pitch away now from getting out of this inning, because when you think about it, listen, it's a 6-run lead, but a base hit if it scores 2. All of a sudden, things get a little bit more interesting in the latter half of this game. Rowan trying to pitch around a walk and a single. The 2-2 to Sanderson. Swing and a miss. Top shelf juice from the lefty. Out of trouble in the 6th. No runs, 1 hit, and 2 left on for the Kettleers. Lead remains the same for the Gatemen. Looking to add on in the bottom of the 6th. They're up by 6 here on Cape League TV.
Finding a good personal injury attorney is very difficult. If you or a family member has been involved in an accident, hurt at work, suffered a slip and fall, or have been injured due to negligence of someone else, contact the lawyers at Reedy, Kiernan, and McNally, LLP today. They are experienced trial attorneys who practice in all of the courts in the Commonwealth. The firm has been recognized by Best Lawyers in America for outstanding legal representation. Contact Reedy, Kiernan, and McNally, LLP today. The firm is located at 267 Main Street in Wareham. Reedy, Kiernan, and McNally, LLP also has offices in New Bedford and Falmouth. Call 508-295-0286 or visit their website www.rkm-law.com.
back here at Spillane Field. A 6-run Gatemen advantage. The Bats got going early and often. 5 runs in the first, 4 in the second, a 9-3 Gatemen lead. New pitcher on the mound for the Kettleers. Josh, one of these rare situations where we do not have a player who seems to have a number assigned to him on the rosters.
Yeah, not at the current moment. He's wearing 35. And, there's been a couple of these instances over the last few days where, the Gatemen kind of wore, different red uniforms. It was the first time that this season that they, had those red unis. They were worn, for, Veterans Night. Wear red on Fridays here in Cape League, but a couple of those guys had to change numbers. Now just still waiting on...
Gavin Jones is the official name given to 35. Better than calling him Mr. Pitcher.
It has to be, right?
So Gavin Jones gets the ball here in the bottom of the 6th. His team trails by 6. Top of the order for the Gatemen, beginning with Braden Randall, Levi Clark, and Hunter Carnes. 1, 2, 3. Randall a base hit and 3 trips to the plate. First pitch from Jones. Down low for ball 1.
Yeah, he was registered on the temporary inactive list, and he was reinstated from that 3 days ago. So his first appearance since then, but just so interesting, not even on the active roster still. I mean, usually when you activate somebody, that just kind of automatically carries over and changes, but not listed on there. Either way, he's on the mound here.
And he's fired in 3 straight balls to begin the at-bat against Braden Randall. The Gatemen may be looking for that punch-out dagger here in the bottom of the 6th. Finds the zone there. Randall thought he was headed to first base. Will step back in the box on 3-1. Gatemen have not scored a run since the 2nd inning, but really haven't needed to right now. 9-3. Now a 3-1 pitch. Club down the right field line. Way back it goes. This one caroms off the wall. A fair ball, and then it will drift out of play. Braden Randall up to second on a ground rule double.
Yeah, it's one of those things where down that right field line, the bullpen kind of opens up that territory where it can drift out of play. So it halts Randall at second, but second hit of the game, and a nice one at that. Saw Hayden Yost kind of hug that line. It stayed in the air a little bit longer and then bounced just to the right of that foul line. That one stayed inside. Now Randall on second with a leadoff double. Nice hit for the second baseman.
Braden Randall's kind of showed off a little bit of pop here tonight. Had that deep fly out into center field. Obviously resulted in an out, but one of the farthest hit balls he's had this summer. In scoring position for Levi Clark, looking for his first hit of the night. The Gateman first baseman has walked and struck out twice.
It's a big run, Cory. You know what that means.
Oh, boy. I was hoping you forgot. The 1-0. Big swing and a miss. When we talked about the bell that Colby Turner had put in the dugout, but what about those cat noises that were coming from the Gateman dugout?
Yeah.
Is that going to turn into a rally cry? Obviously, the umpires kind of put a halt
not if
to
Brian
that.
DiDomenico has anything to say about it.
There goes Randall to third. He'll get there easily as the pitch slipped by French, and he's 90 feet away. The infield slowly creeps in for the Kettleers, down by 6 in the bottom of the 6th. A 2-1 to Levi Clark. You go back to the Chatham game. Obviously, the shoe's on the other foot for the Gatemen, but there was a chance in that one where the Anglers kind of stopped scoring for a stretch. The Gatemen scored a few runs themselves and made things a little competitive, trying to prevent that here. Runner waiting on third, a 2-2 pitch. Poke to the right side, it's through. The Gatemen hit double digits. Levi Clark, an RBI single, plates Braden Randall, and it's 10-3.
How about that, Cory? Nice hit from Clark. Goes the other way, his first hit of the night. Another RBI from the first baseman.
I'm a man of my word. Which animal noise are we going to bring out here,
I think
Josh?
we have to kind of continue to go on with what Wareham was doing, and we have to go with a cat. But, I mean, first, just a nice hit from Levi Clark all the way through the shaded infield.
Ready?
Yep.
Meow.
That was terrible. That was awful.
Well, let's hear yours then.
No. I wasn't the one that said that we had to do this.
It's probably because I'm more of a dog person than cat person.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
You have a dog, Cory?
I did. Passed away last summer, but was with us for 12 and a half years.
I'm sorry.
Really vibrant 12 and a half years, though, so couldn't have asked for a whole lot more.
Boy or girl?
Girl.
Name?
Secret.
Secret?
Yep. It's not a secret. That was.
I understand. I was
Do you
putting
have
that
any
together.
pets?
I do. I have 2 cats.
Oh, so you are a cat person.
I am a cat
So you
person.
must be able to do a pretty good meow.
Well, the next time they score 10 runs, maybe you'll find out.
If they get to 20.
If they get to 20,
Yeah.
I'll do a cat and a dog. How
There
about
we
that?
go. Quickly 3-0 on Hunter Carnes. 2 singles and a flyout for the Gatemen catcher. Clark on at first. That one nearly clipped Hunter Carnes. Ball 4 either way. And he walks down to first. All 3 Gatemen to start this inning against Gavin Jones have now reached base.
Now, and here's the thing that can get this a little bit interesting. It's a 7-run lead for Wareham now. Chris McHugh represents what could be a 10-run cushion for Wareham. If he would come in to score, the Gatemen hold Cotuit scoreless in the 7th. That 10-run lead would credit a mercy rule coming into play. That's how Cotuit won its matchup yesterday.
Yeah, that would be some turnaround.
Yeah. From a mercy rule to then getting mercied. 19-3 win over Brewster yesterday. 14 runs in that 6th inning. Gatemen would settle for just 3 more here.
Would be quite the 360, really, for both of these 2 teams. The Gatemen have bounced back pretty much in every facet. So here is Chris McHugh, RBI double, a walk, and a strikeout. 2 on, no one out for him. Gavin Jones looking for the first out since he entered the game. Righty-on-righty matchup, and now 1-0 on the big Gateman DH.
And I think if you're Chris McHugh, you just have to start taking until there's 2 strikes.
Yeah.
Jones can't really locate here, so use that to your advantage.
Walked Carnes on 4 pitches. 1-0, foul tip straight back. It's crazy to think that McHugh entered this game at a 188 average, especially since he swatted 3 home runs, tied for the team lead.
Well, a lot of his hits have been home runs.
Maybe just kind of get that production a little bit more consistently. That slash line is going to start to be really dangerous. Already has an RBI double. Waiting on a 1-1 pitch. Half-hearted swing. No appeal as it danced outside. And given his production at NC State, it makes sense that he'll continue to slot in middle part of the order.
Yeah, his first 2 hits of the season came as home runs. One against YD, the second against Brewster. He had a single later in that game as well.
Jam shot out to shallow right field. It stays on the infield grass. Advincula and Sanderson converging. That ball nearly dropped, but
little miscommunication there between the 2 of them of who was going to end up fielding that ball. Advincula gave Sanderson a nice tap on the chest with his glove after he made the grab. That one could have gotten a little interesting there, but Cotuit gets the out. First one of this inning. Brings up Colby Turner.
friendly
he's already
exchange
done
there
today.
between Advincula and Sanderson.
Probably would have been a little less friendly if that ball fell.
Yeah. First pitch to Turner, inside. Yeah, how about Colby Turner? This just really cemented that the past few games have not been a fluke. The double in the first, home run in the second. He's gone deep in back-to-back games here at Spillane Field. Waiting on a 1-0 here. Big swing, and he pops it straight back.
I mean, this is one of those bats, Cory, that we thought was kind of going to be a mainstay in this Gatemen lineup. After that opening weekend, started off 3 for 8, and then he dumped down. You know, I mean, a couple of straight games hitless. Then he had one mid-season, then a couple more. But these last few games, if he can keep it up, it's going to be huge for the Gatemen offensively.
Runners take off. That one sails off of the glove of French. Easy advance. Now 2 in scoring position. Clark to third, Carnes to second. Waiting in the wings for Colby Turner.
I know that's a big spot. If Turner can bring those guys in, you got 2 in scoring position with less than 2 outs. Infield comes in. If you can drive something into the outfield, score those 2 runs, now you go up by 9.
The infield is in for the Kettleers, trying to prevent that situation.
Yeah.
Big swing and a miss again from Turner. 2-2.
Turner's got a chance to, maybe send the Gatemen faithful home a little early. Got to get a couple more RBIs and add to his 4 total so far today.
The recent hot streak averages up to 257 just entering play alone. Jones has worked the count even to 2-2. Here's that pitch, and he misses just outside. A payoff pitch now coming to Colby Turner. A guy who Ryan Smythe has still given plenty of opportunities to, and he's rewarded him the past few games. He's found that hitting stroke. After a great start, rough middle, but Colby Turner's reemerged for the Gatemen. Full count pitch, fouled off of his foot.
Yeah, I mean, he came in with a 257 batting average, and that's just continued to grow exponentially over the last few games. Now it's all the way up to 289. OPS just a hair under 900. Again, if that bat continues to stay hot and just keep this up throughout the course of the season, obviously everybody's going to have some off days, some bad, but be big for him.
He's now up to 2 homers on the summer. There's one behind Clark and McHugh. Payoff pitch here. Deep drive into left field. West back. He becomes a spectator. Colby Turner, the exclamation point in the 6th.
Cory, that pitch was at his chest. What a drive from Colby Turner. 2 home runs today, 7 RBIs. This is incredible. There are not a lot of players in this league that can hit that pitch out, and he did it again. Wow.
Is 3 for 4 with 2 homers and 7 RBIs a good batting line?
I think so.
The Cotuit conference on the mound. I mean, now you get into that situation where
that mercy rule is a factor.
The pitching conference leads to a pitching change for the Kettleers, just looking to bring an end to this onslaught from the Gatemen, who continue to cash in thanks to Colby Turner. A 3-run shot here in the 6th, 13-3, a 10-run game. Stay tuned to Cape League TV. It's all Gatemen here at Spillane Field.
If you need to dig, lift, move, grade, clear, or cut, pump, weld, clean, light, and just about anything else, dial up the rental source for the newest and the most reliable equipment in New England. Staffed with equipment and construction experts, Milton Rents, your local source.
As the sponsor of tonight's game, PCT Federal Credit Union is proud to root for the home team. We're thrilled to offer great rates on auto loans, home equity lines of credit, and so much more. Visit us on Cranberry Highway in West Wareham.
Reed Custom Soils, a subsidiary of the AD Makepeace Company, is New England's most experienced precision soil blender. Reed is the leading provider of the lightweight planting soil for green roof installations, stabilized stone dust for nature paths and pedestrian walkways, bioretention, rain garden soils, and specialized soils for athletic fields, including your newly renovated Spillane Field. To learn more, visit reedcustomsoils.com.
Shameless Plug Electric, hitting home runs on every job. Wareham's top choice for electrical work. Call Shameless Plug Electric. Max Hogg, the righty, takes over on the mound for the Kettleers. They go to the bullpen once again after Gavin Jones can't get out of the sixth. Retires just one batter, and Colby Turner ended his night early, his second homer of the game. He brought the triangle into the Gatemen dugout. This might be the game of the triangle for the Gatemen, and it's paid dividends offensively.
Well, he's responsible for 7 times that they've been able to chime that triangle. What a game from Colby Turner. First run since the second inning. We talked about complacency kills, but, I mean, these 4 runs have really been a driving factor in this game.
And you got to think that that triangle is going to continue to be a rally cry for the Gatemen after
if they're
going to
score
tonight.
13 runs in 6 innings, please keep it.
Slap foul by Yost. Hogg on the mound out of George Washington, 6'4", 205-pound righty. In his 5th game of the summer. All out of the bullpen, 10.38 ERA, 5 earned runs in 4 1/3 innings. Still just 1 out here in the 6th. Pitch to Yost. Sends it foul again.
And now here's the thing, Corey. The Gatemen have a chance to end this game early. It's a 10-run lead. About to enter the 7th inning. Minimum 10 runs unless Yost or Colin Ritchie can do something else pretty spectacular into the night sky. I'll be curious to see how Smythe and Luxus kind of treat that inning, knowing that the game could be over with just 3 more outs.
That breaking ball just missed outside. And could you, given all that and the fact that you could end this game early against a team that just mercied the team they played last night, could you have asked for a much better game if you're the Gatemen?
I don't think so.
As Yost goes down swinging?
I don't know if you really can. I mean, this just really seems like the 2 ends of the totem pole here. On the one hand, you have 7 errors last night. You lose 11-4 to Falmouth. And now tonight, after Cotuit beat Brewster 19-3. And you have a chance to mercy them in the same fashion. I mean, nothing really else to say.
2 outs now for Colin Ritchie. Takes a ball low. 2-run shot back in the first. A strikeout and a base hit for Ritchie. The big production from Turner. Ritchie might lose sight of the fact that he's had a really nice game. 2 for 3. Unlike Turner, maybe hadn't came into this game riding a hit streak, but he's got a pair of them tonight, including a home run. Big swing and a miss. It's 1-2. And listen, you were definitely hoping to bounce back with a win, obviously, after trying to snap a 5-game losing skid the way the Gatemen lost last night, but it's not every day you're up by 10 against a team who scored 19 runs last night and could potentially end the game early. That pitch skips in there. Count even on Colin Ritchie.
But they still got to get it done. 3 more outs. Send everybody home. Might be the quickest game on record this season if they can do that.
2-2. Big swing and a miss. So Hogg comes in, strikes out Yost and Ritchie, but not before Colby Turner does some damage. His second home run of the night. This one a 3-run shot. It puts the Gatemen up by 10. Now a chance to end it here in the 7th. Rowan will be back on the mound. Gatemen trying to go home early here on Cape League TV.
Finding a good personal injury attorney is very difficult. If you or a family member has been involved in an accident, hurt at work, suffered a slip and fall, or have been injured due to negligence of someone else, contact the lawyers at Reedy, Kiernan, and McNally, LLP today. They are experienced trial attorneys who practice in all of the courts in the Commonwealth. The firm has been recognized by Best Lawyers in America for outstanding legal representation. Contact Reedy, Kiernan, and McNally LLP today. The firm is located at 267 Main Street in Wareham. Reedy, Kiernan, and McNally LLP also has offices in New Bedford and Falmouth. Call 508-295-0286 or visit their website www.rkm-law.com.
The Gatemen needed a boost today on the offensive side. Needed a boost after they've dropped 5 straight, especially after last night's game. Colby Turner comes up with bringing the triangle, hanging it in the dugout, and he's led the charge offensively. The whole team has pinched in. But what an offensive performance. The game of the triangle, it certainly paid off for Wareham. Shallow fly ball into left field. Van Sheen tracks it down. Nice running catch to begin the 7th.
I mean, how about the middle infield today, Cory? I mean, it seems like both him and Braden Randall have just been making spectacular play after spectacular play, because that was a really difficult ball that he made that grab on.
There's Colby Turner at the hot corner. And, yeah, he's had a pretty good night. 2 home runs.
Oh, you think so? I'd say so.
Now 3 home runs in his last 3 games. Had the one the other night in the loss against Bourne on Friday. Advincula at the top of the lineup takes a called strike 1. And that's the thing, though, you know, the offense is going to get all the attention, but the defense, which was the main point of focus that really needed to bounce back, has just 1 error. It was on a Carnes throw, but other than that, really flawless on the defensive side for the Gatemen.
Yeah, and that was just Carnes just kind of rushing a toss down to third, because Advincula has a lot of speed. That one was just kind of the product of the environment of the play instead of, you know, just kind of, you know, to put it, you know, pretty bluntly, just kind of some of those boneheaded decisions that got made yesterday. I mean, it happens, but you move on. That's the game.
Rowan takes a tumble, fielding that ground ball, fires a strike to first. But it's not going to be in time to get Advincula. Showcasing the speed right there. Tough play for Rowan. Tough break on the slip.
Yeah, Rowan slipped, and if he could have kept his feet upright, he would have definitely made that play over to first. It's a tough draw for him, and now Eric Luxus wants to just make a chat and
looks like
make
maybe
sure that he's okay.
The belt kind of came undone. Yeah, it just kind of slipped.
Yeah, Luxus just took his belt. He's a little bit out of uniform now.
He's going beltless. The Gatemen dugout. Again, obviously the score helps, but the energy feels like it's been there tonight more so than maybe any game this season.
I mean, it felt pretty lifeless at the end of yesterday, I would say. I mean, it was everybody just kind of, I mean, looked defeated just from our vantage point, but I mean, this is the type of game that can really bring so much energy, enthusiasm, and just a positive mindset to this group. This just one game before the midway point of the year.
The pinch hitter Easton Winfield replaces Bogenpole. 1-0 pitch misses outside. For Cotuit, still trying to at least eliminate the 10-run deficit and prolong this game. Even though they're certainly out of things, it's never good for morale or just in general to say that you lost a game via the mercy rule. Rowan fires in a bullet. 2-1 now.
And if you're Rowan, you just got to keep throwing strikes at this point. I mean, he's had a really, really solid, you know, outing so far. He's just got to keep it rolling.
2-1 pitch. One with a breaking ball locates it on the outside corner.
Pitch.
Called strike 2.
Nice pitch.
It's kind of weird to say 2 outs away in the 7th for a win, but
still,
it's a situation the Gatemen are in.
Even just a double play.
2-2 now. Foul. Winfield pinch hitting for Bogenpole. who was 0 for 3 out of the second spot in the order. Advincula reached on the infield base hit right back to Rowan. Swing and a miss. Rowan wins the battle, sets down Winfield, and the Gatemen now are an out away.
You have to get through Farber. No hits, but he does have 2 walks today.
You heard the one more exclamation from the Gatemen dugout. Rowan went from 2-0 all the way back to strike out Winfield. So now it's Farber. Runner on at first, 2 outs in the top of the 7th. Rowan starts him with a ball, and it's 1-0.
And you've just got to attack Farber here and just kind of go for gold. Get out of this, get this done. Head home with the win.
That one slap foul. In Wareham, we talked about the pitching would only have to use 2 arms. Presumably, if they can get this last out. Pair of lefties, Consiglio, then Rowan.
Yeah,
Seems like in all facets of the game, they've bounced back.
Well, I said if Rowan can go 2 1/3, that brings you to an even 7. I just didn't think there was going to be a 10-run lead, and this could be it.
And now the Gatemen are a strike away. 1-2 on Farber.
They want it so bad.
The Gatemen on the front row of that
ready to
dugout.
explode.
13-3 here in the top of the 7th. Up by 10. Rowan's 1-2. Sails high. A quick reminder that this broadcast is a copyrighted production of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Any unauthorized duplication, retransmission, or other use is strictly prohibited. Back to action. Another 2-2. In the dirt.
Nice
scoop
block
by Carnes.
You don't want to lose him here. Challenge him with a fastball. If he hits it, great. If he doesn't, game over.
Advincula on at first. He'll be released on a full count pitch with 2 away. Gatemen looking to end it early in the 7th. Full count. The pitch. Spoiled by Farber. After an 11-4 loss last night against Falmouth. One of 5 straight losses for the Gatemen. All 5 games they've dropped here in July. Payoff pitch coming. Misses outside. The Kettleers trying not to go down quietly. It's up to Dean West now to at least score Advincula from second. West, 2 hits and a fly out here tonight.
Advincula has a lot of speed, so a single from West would do it, especially with 2 outs. He'll be on the move with the crack of the bat. So it'll be up to Rowan to really just try and get West out here. Cotuit won't really, likely at least, be going station to station.
Rowan gets ahead 0-1 on the lefty-on-lefty matchup. Kicks and fires. Sails high. So Wareham looks to get back in the win column. Would be win number 1 here in July. 2 on. Rowan's 1-1. Dips outside.
He's frustrated with himself. He knows he just needs to locate it in the zone. Just got to find it here.
Would be the first time the Gatemen have utilized the mercy rule this summer. 2-1. Fouled straight back, and once again, Rowan and the Gatemen are a strike away. A game after Wareham made 7 errors. Nothing seemed to be going right last night at Falmouth. They flipped the script and now are a strike away from Mercy and Cotuit. 2-2 pitch. That one just missed.
Ooh, that was close.
Everyone at Spillane Field thought that was going to do it, including Big Country. Now a full count again. Runners take off. Rowan misses outside. Back-to-back walks load the bases.
And now here's Jack Natili. You don't want to waste another arm here, especially for one out, but it's like it'll be up to Rowan here.
You know, it's a good game. We saw him on cam when some of the bullpen arms make their way all the way over to the press box, including Caleb Appleby, who pitched last night.
I mean, they've got to be happy with this.
Natili connects. High fly ball into right center field. Yost tracking, Yost back, Yost looking, and it's gone. A grand slam from Jack Natili. Not so fast, says Cotuit. And it's a 13-7 game.
Well, that changes some things. I mean, they were so close. That's back-to-back games with a home run now for Natili, so he's swinging a pretty hot bat, and Rowan is just, I mean, he is real frustrated with himself right now.
Out into right center field. Yost and Cruzen, nothing they could do. Rowan exits, gave up the grand slam, was a strike away from sending everyone home early here tonight. Cotuit ended that opportunity. The grand slam from Natili. Wareham goes to the bullpen. Still a 6-run lead here in the 7th on Cape League TV.
Finding a good personal injury attorney is very difficult. If you or a family member has been involved in an accident, hurt at work, suffered a slip and fall, or have been injured due to negligence of someone else, contact the lawyers at Reedy, Kiernan, and McNally, LLP today. They are experienced trial attorneys who practice in all of the courts in the Commonwealth. The firm has been recognized by Best Lawyers in America for outstanding legal representation. Contact Reedy, Kiernan, and McNally, LLP today. The firm is located at 267 Main Street in Wareham. Reedy, Kiernan, and McNally, LLP also has offices in New Bedford and Falmouth. Call 508-295-0286 or visit their website, www.rkm-law.com.
The Gatemen were an out away from ending this game in the 7th, 2 innings early. Instead, we play on. Natili, a grand slam, went from a 10-run deficit to a 6-run deficit, 13-7 Wareham. They turn to another southpaw on the mound. And why not? You get the platoon advantage against this Cotuit team, and now it's Ty Stark trying to stop the damage here in the 7th.
I mean, that's just so frustrating. They were so close to sending everybody home, getting out of it. Hudson Rowan not happy with himself, but he brought them there. He kept Cotuit off the board. Pitched a really, really solid couple of innings. Now Ty Stark comes in, staying on that lefty train. Try and keep it at 6 now.
Camden Johnson, the third baseman, first batter to greet Stark. Only needs an out to end the inning here in the top of the 7th, and the half inning, I should say. And it wasn't like Cotuit just got 1 run to keep the game alive. They got 4 all in one swing. Natili's second homer of the summer. RBI counts up to 8. Lefty hitting Johnson faces Ty Stark. Lefty curls that one in there for a called strike 1. Stark out of Louisville. Just his third appearance of the summer. The second was much better than the first when he didn't record an out against Orleans. He's pitched an inning and 2/3 for Wareham this summer. That one dips outside. No one on, 2 away for Camden Johnson, who is 1 for 3 tonight. And the count now 2-1 You know, the Gatemen are still up by 6, but that grand slam from Natili almost, it just brought kind of a silence over the crowd at Spillane Field. You kind of go from two extremes to being a strike away from any of the game to now all of a sudden you have to keep playing. 2-1 pitch is right there for a called strike 2.
Yeah, and a strike away from multiple batters as well. Farber and West both in 2-strike counts. Worked Rowan to his max. Had the full count and took a couple balls outside.
Now Stark trying to end the half inning. On 2-2, blows it by Camden Johnson. Ty Stark faces one batter, strikes him out, and brings an end to an eventful 7th inning, but not before the Kettleers plate 4 thanks to the grand slam by Natili. As a result, we play on at Spillane Field. Stay tuned to the rest of the action on Cape League TV.
Turf Specialties has set the standard for high-quality natural grass athletic field construction. As a full-service athletic field construction company, we specialize in design, build, and renovation of native soil, modified soil, and sand-based athletic fields. Our team will provide you with superior quality, expert guidance, and continuing support long after the completion of our project. We are proud to have built the infield for the Wareham Gatemen field. Go Gatemen.
There hasn't been a ton of training when it comes to bat speed or products for players to be able to train bat speed. You can improve your bat speed and reach your goals working 10 to 15 minutes a day on this a couple of times a week. That's a no-brainer for every player. You can make any bat feel lighter by adding a velo puck knob. Instead of having to go get a whole entirely new bat, you can simply add the puck to it. Players can use this with any bat. It's basically going to shift the weight of the bat a little bit more towards the hands. Players are able to hit the ball a lot harder just by simply adding the puck on.
Thanks to a grand slam by Jack Natili, the Kettleers avoid being mercied, at least for now. Trail still by 6. We move ahead to the bottom of the 7th. Back with Josh Richardson. I'm Cory Miller. Max Hogg, the righty, back on the mound for the Kettleers. Faces Shane, Cruz, and Randall, 8-9-1. And if the Gatemen want to go home now, could maybe walk it off. If they can get back to that 10-run lead, would have to plate 4 here in the 7th.
Yeah, Jack Natili might be public enemy number 1 for all Gatemen fans here tonight. So close to heading home. Long 4th of July weekend. Got a couple more innings of baseball here.
First pitch in this Shane at bat. Ball 1. And it's just kind of weird, again, that ripple effect that grand slam seemed to have. Obviously, the Gatemen, their fans feeling good about this lead right now, but everyone had bought into the fact that Rowan was going to get that last strike, end the game early, and then all of a sudden, everything flipped kind of on its head.
It certainly would have been nice.
French and Hogg talking things over. Easton Winfield, who pinch hit in the top half of the inning, replaces Bogenpole in center field. He struck out against Rowan. Right now it's Shane against Hogg. 1-0 offering. Big swing and a miss. Lights on at Spillane Field, playing here in the bottom of the 7th. No one on for Shane, no one out. That one sails to the backstop. I mean, that's the crazy thing. Wareham could have ended this game with the sun not even completely having set yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful night from Spillane Field. The lights are obviously on, just automatically come on. But no, you're right.
Shallow liner into right field. Stevens gives it a dive, but it's going to land in front of him. Leadoff base hit for Vance Shea, his first hit of the night. The hitting train continues to start the bottom of the 7th for the Gatemen.
How about Cruson and Randall get on, and then Levi Clark hits one out of the park to send everybody home? That would be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool. You'd go from a situation where you're trying to shut the opposition down to end it and close the game down in the 7th to walk it off in the 7th. Obviously, these guys are accustomed sometimes to these situations across the collegiate season and blowout games. Crusen's 0 for 3 tonight. And the Gatemen would need 4 runs here in the 7th to end it on a walk-off. Quickly 2-0 on the Gatemen right fielder. Sky-high pop-up drifting down the third base line. Johnson lost that one, landed in foul ground.
That would have been a pretty long run for him anyway. Not sure if he could have gotten there. Tough to track over your head.
Yeah. Put his arms up. Just ended up losing it. So another pitch for Crusen to see. It's a 2-1 count after the leadoff Sheehan base hit. There goes Sheehan. Pitch misses low. Throw down to second. Skips into center field. Sheehan makes the turn. He's now up to third.
Good awareness from Sheehan to know that that ball slipped through center field, or slipped through into center field. Now he's over at third. I know it's a 6-run game, but, I mean, it was 10 runs in the blink of an eye. You know, another grand slam for Cotuit, another big inning. That 6-run lead turns into 5, 4-3.
3-1 with the infield drawn in. Crusen works a walk to set up runners on the corners for the top of the order and Braden Randall. I think, Josh, what they're trying to do is maybe keep scoring runs, but keep the game going to get to 20 runs. So you have to do the cat and
you think
the
so?
bark. Yeah,
you
the
think
meow
so?
and the bark. I thought for a second they wouldn't get to 10, but Colby Turner and crew quickly quashed that. Crusen takes off for second, slapped through the hole into left field. Run number 14 will come across to score in the form of Vance Sheehan. Braden Randall an RBI single. Now they're 3 runs away.
Okay, well, here's Levi Clark. Oh, see, we can hear it. I heard the chime.
That was the first time
I'm
we
not
really
sure if
heard
that
it.
picked up on the crowd mic, but we could hear that.
And they're not just dinging it once, they're giving it a good ring. Clark represents the winning run at the plate. With his team now up by 7, no one out. Bottom of the 7th. Skips away from French behind home plate. Advance from Crusen up to third. And Randall down to second.
Well, there goes the force, at least at third or second. So now the only force out would be Clark over at first. Infield comes back in. Now if you're Clark, you got to think about, okay, well now if I just hit a single, those 2 runs come in, you're even closer.
With Crusen drawing the walk, he's now on at third. He cemented that every Gatemen player has reached base at least once here tonight. Looks like the Kettleers are getting some equipment changes. Maybe the pitch comm is offline between French and Hogg.
Yeah, it just seems like a pitch comm issue. Make sure they have that all squared away.
Levi Clark single, drove in a run back in the 6th. That was the 10th run for the Gatemen, and later scored on Colby Turner's second homer of the game. Josh kind of set it up pretty perfectly. It's a home run right here.
Sends everybody home happy. Well, not everybody.
At least the Wareham faithful for sure. Again, here in the 7th. Cotuit ended the mercy rule possibility in the top half of the inning. Bring the infield in. It's a 1-0 to Clark as he fists it foul down the first base line. Clark does have 3 homers this summer. Up to 5 RBIs after his 6th-inning RBI single. Cruson on at third, Randall at second. Good speed for the Gatemen. Still no one out in the bottom of the 7th. A 1-1. Breaking ball winds in there for a called strike 2.
It's a nice pitch to keep Clark off balance. Breaking ball looked like it was going to hit him at first, then it breaks all the way over the outer edge of the plate. Got good movement on that off-speed.
Hogg replaced Jones in the 6th. It's carried over into the 7th. A 1-2 now. Skips past French. Cruson sprinting to the plate. Cruson in there safely. Another for the Gatemen. It's 15-7.
We've talked about that backstop kind of playing a factor in whether or not, teams, whether it be opposing Wareham or when it is the Gatemen, if they want to end up testing their luck trying to run in from third to score on a pass ball or a wild pitch. Backstop moved up from where it was a year ago, but Cruson has the speed, shows it off right there. Comes in to score either way.
Now a runner on at third for Clark. Big swing, got a piece of it to keep the count at 2-2. Infield remains in. So the Gatemen back to 2 runs away from being able to walk this game off in the 7th. And with Cruson's speed, why not? Team's leader in stolen bases. Now just a runner on at third for Levi Clark. Hogg gets his sign as he comes set here. Pitch to Levi Clark. Dips low, full count. Hunter Carnes on deck.
Carnes has been swinging a pretty hot bat these last few days as well. And then McHugh and Turner right behind him. You really can't go wrong in the middle of this order here for Wareham.
On a full count pitch now. Stays low, easy take for Levi Clark. Works the walk, and now the winning run is on base for the Gatemen.
That's big. And now that draws the infield back out. The double play opportunity is obviously there. Clark, not somebody known for his speed. Gatemen have been pretty willing runners so far today, but you never know on what they decide to do. I'd be surprised to see Clark take off from first base here.
Carnes 2 hits, a flyout, and a walk. 2 on for him here, including the winning run at first. Now 0-1. Kettleers have elected to continue with Hogg on the mound. Through 2/3 of an inning after he finally ended the 6th. Still no one out in the 7th, so he got the last 2 outs of the 6th via the strikeout. This inning started with a Sheehan base hit, a Cruson walk, Randall an RBI single, and then Levi Clark drew the walk as French gives out the signs to the infield. And it's 1-1 on Hunter Carnes.
Infield shaded over to Carnes' pull side. With Sanderson holding Clark on at first, there's a big hole if Carnes can go the other way into right.
Pitch to Carnes. Catches the outside corner for a called strike 2. Hogg in search of his first out of the 7th inning. The runs from the Gatemen, no fluke, have scored in bunches. They've piled it on. 5 in the first, 4 in the second, 4 in the 6th. Now 2 so far here in the 7th. Count even at 2-2 on Hunter Carnes. And they've certainly responded to the grand slam from Natilli. Have gotten right back. Brought the bats back out here in the 7th. 2-2. Flied into left field. Charging is West. Diving attempt. Makes the catch. Jogging home from third is Braden Randall. He comes across to score on the sac fly by Hunter Carnes. The Kettleers get an out. And still the possibility remains with that winning run on at first.
That's a really nice catch from West over in left field. That is not an easy play that he made. Charging in, basket catch, underhand. If that gets by him, Clark at least over at third.
West has a couple of hits tonight. Nice play here. So now it's McHugh. Big swing and a miss. 16-7 Gatemen. Most runs they have scored this season. An emphatic response after last night's loss against Falmouth. Clark the winning run at first here in the 7th. With one away, and 0-1 is now 1-1 as Hogg can't locate right there.
Barring a double play, Colby Turner could get another at-bat. How about that?
Homer number 3 to end it. I don't want to jinx it. I already said it, though.
It's too late for that.
Ripped down the left field line, just foul. I think everything's going so well for Colby Turner, though.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Because now that's dangerous territory. It's one thing to accidentally jinx, but then when you double down and go, there's no such thing as one, that is an interesting decision.
2 strikes on Chris McHugh, 1-2 the count. Clark at first with 1 out. Breaking ball, and McHugh spoils it.
16-7.
Question might be for the Gatemen. Obviously, you have a day off tomorrow, but when you look ahead to Tuesday, do you change this lineup up? Cotuit didn't change theirs a whole lot heading into today's game. Wareham's plated 16. Another 1-2 pitch, another foul ball off the bat of Chris McHugh.
I'm not changing a thing. This lineup worked, and it wasn't just the home runs. Yes, that played a big part in it, but a couple other extra base hits as well. Everybody's been producing top to bottom in this lineup.
That next game against Brewster on Tuesday here at Spillane Park. Meanwhile, McHugh has filed off 3 straight. The counts 1-2. Another pitch from Hogg. Breaking ball dances outside.
And Yost and Cruson, the only 2 guys that are hitless for the Gatemen today, but they've both reached on walks. So everybody kind of played their part into mounting this massive lead of what it is right now.
With Clark on at first, now at 2-2. Fly down the right field line, drifts out of play. And as we talked about, the defense has stepped up. Certainly lots of room for improvement after last night. Smythe told us, everyone was trying to make the spectacular play, but they just needed to get back to making the routine play. The Gatemen have certainly done that. And the offense has backed up the defensive side. 2-2. McHugh able to lay off that pitch on the inner part off the plate. Full count now. And it is Colby Turner waiting on deck.
That'd be big if he can get on and move Clark into scoring position.
It's been a great at-bat for McHugh. Full count pitch. Fly ball into left. West jogs in. He's there for out number 2.
Good piece from McHugh. Just didn't get enough of it. Kind of jammed him a little bit inside, just below the barrel. Missed it by a hair, and here's Turner. Chance to be the hero.
Before he can step up to the plate, mound visit for the Kettleers. Makes sense that you'd at the very least want to talk things over with Colby Turner up at the plate. Looks like, though, it will be a Cotuit pitching change. Yes, indeed, it will be.
They're still playing a win.
They're down 16-7. The Gatemen, with the runner on at first, could end it here if Clark can come in to score from first. Pitching change here in Wareham. Colby Turner will step into the batter's box when we come back on Cape League TV.
Finding a good personal injury attorney is very difficult. If you or a family member has been involved in an accident, hurt at work, suffered a slip and fall, or have been injured due to negligence of someone else, contact the lawyers at Reedy, Kiernan, and McNally, LLP today. They are experienced trial attorneys who practice in all of the courts in the Commonwealth. The firm has been recognized by Best Lawyers in America for outstanding legal representation. Contact Reedy, Kiernan, and McNally, LLP today. The firm is located at 267 Main Street in Wareham. Reedy, Kiernan, and McNally, LLP also has offices in New Bedford and Falmouth. Call 508-295-0286 or visit their website, www.rkm-law.com.
Dylan Scudder out of Bryant, 6'7", 250-pound right-hander on the mound for Cotuit. Hogg exits, and now the mission for Scudder pretty simple. Prevent Levi Clark on at first from scoring the winning run.
Yeah, well, he's got a tall task. He's got to get Colby Turner out to do that. Turner 2 home runs and an RBI double. 7 total runs batted in today for the third baseman. Huge outing for him.
You see the stat line on the screen right there. No earned runs allowed from Scudder in 4 innings pitched. 4 walks, 5 strikeouts, but Scudder's been fairly unhittable. Yet to allow a run. Was interested to see whether Ryan Smythe would consider pinch running that is, for Levi Clark. But the Gatemen first baseman jogs back out to first as Scudder finishes his warm-up pitches. And here is Colby Turner.
Well, you know, banking on the fact that that run comes in to score, you still want to at least have Clark's bat in the game in case Turner can't drive him in. Or, you know, any pinch runner that is that could have came in for Clark.
Turner's 3 for 4, 2 home runs, 7 RBIs. Average is up to 308. OPS just below 1,000 now.
What a turnaround over this last week.
The Turner turnaround.
Yeah, incredible.
And the Turner triangle.
Some alliteration there from you, Cory. I like it.
And it's quickly 2-0 on the Gateman third baseman. In some situations, maybe you just intentionally walk him, but that just puts the winning run in scoring position. But we'll see how aggressive Scudder and Cotuit elect to be with Colby Turner. 2 bombs into left field tonight. Hitters count for him here. The 2-0 pitch. Bounce that one. Turner's yet to see a pitch to swing at this at-bat.
And that's the thing, though, sometimes, Cory, right, is, you know, hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in all of professional sports. It doesn't matter what it is. But when you're swinging the way that Colby Turner is over this past week, that baseball really looks like a beach ball.
See if he gets a green light here on 3-0. Takes that one on the inside corner. Catches the plate, 3-1. Hayden Yost on deck for the Gatemen. Trying to end it here after the grand slam in the top half of the inning. Up by 9. A 3-1. Another pitch dotted on the corner, another called strike. So Clark gets a head start on a 3-2 pitch with Colby Turner up at the plate. (16-7). Wareham over Cotuit. That one is looped the other way. It falls in front of Stevens for a base hit. Clark chugging to third. He's there easily. A base hit for Colby Stevens. The winning run 90 feet away for the Gatemen.
Colby Turner is just having a night. How about him? 3 for 4. 2 home runs and a double. 7 RBIs.
And obviously it wasn't a called hit and run, but
3 for 5, rather.
Full count, 2 outs. The runner's going to be running. Executed it perfectly to Turner going the other way. Enables Clark to get to third. He scores. The game is over. Here's Hayden Yost. No hits tonight. Reached on a walk. Facing Scudder. Lefty on righty. First pitch to Yost. Misses low.
You ready for any wild pitches, pass balls as well? Something gets by. Maybe Clark decides to take off.
There's 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. Gatemen have plated 3 in that frame. 1-0 to Yost. Right there for a called strike 1. Levi Clark on at third. He walked. Advance on the base hit by Colby Turner, who stands at first. Scudder kicks the 1-1. Fires in another strike, 1-2.
Turner's got 2 pitches he could have swung at. He was waiting for his. Now you got to protect the plate in a 1-2.
Can Yost end it here in the 7th? Winning runs at 3rd. 2 away. There goes Turner. Turner, big swing, comes up empty, ending the 7th. The Gatemen got close. They needed 4, they got 3. The lead's at 9. We've played 7 innings here at Spillane Field. The onslaught from the Gatemen continues, but we play on. We move ahead to the top of the 8th on Cape League TV.
Turf Specialties has set the standard for high-quality natural grass athletic field construction. As a full-service athletic field construction company, we specialize in design, build, and renovation of native soil, modified soil, and sand-based athletic fields. Our team will provide you with superior quality, expert guidance, and continuing support long after the completion of our project. We are proud to have built the infield for the Wareham Gatemen field. Go Gatemen.
There hasn't been a ton of training when it comes to bat speed or products for players to be able to train bat speed. You can improve your bat speed and reach your goals working 10 to 15 minutes a day on this a couple of times a week. That's a no-brainer for every player. You can make any bat feel lighter by adding a velo puck knob. Instead of having to go get a whole entirely new bat, you can simply add the puck to it. Players can use this with any bat. It's basically going to shift the weight of the bat a little bit more towards the hands. Players are able to hit the ball a lot harder just by simply adding the puck on.
The Gatemen lead 16-7 over Cotuit, a game after Wareham made 7 errors on the defensive side. Feels like a complete bounce-back performance. The offense might get a lot of the attention, but the defense has risen to the occasion as well.
Yeah, Cory, just the one error tonight for Wareham. And, you know, if the Gatemen only had one error yesterday, really could have been a completely different game. Might have had a chance to steal that one against the Commodores. But when you look at defensively what happened, I mean, it just was not pretty overall. 7 errors, 2 shy of the Cape League record. That was Hyannis back in '94. Did it against Wareham. They had 9. Every single pitcher that came into the game for the Gatemen had at least one unearned run charged against them. 6 different players with an error. There was so much going on defensively, and it really kept building and building and building until eventually in that 8th inning really hit a breaking point. A couple of those errors came in to score. It was really difficult, but just seeing what the Gatemen have done tonight, just such a bounce-back performance, really is incredible.
1-1 on Nolan Stevens, 7-8-9 for Cotuit here in the 8th. Things just seem to get worse and worse, especially in that 8th inning. Just kind of routine plays, throws back into the infield. Lazy fly balls were dropping. Bounce to the right side. There's Braden Randall. Easy flip over to Levi Clark. One's retired with Ty Stark back to work here on the top of the 8th.
And just nothing was going right. I mean, it was Alexander and the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day out there. I mean, it was just there was nothing else that, you know, really went right outside of those first 2 innings. Hunter Carnes, 2-run shot into left field. Took an early 2-0 lead, outscored 11-2 after that. And now tonight, just, I mean, a complete 180.
You can just see the difference in terms of the body language, obviously, but even on that last shot during that hit, we could see Big Country Caleb Appleby had sunglasses on in the dugout. You don't see that often, but that's probably an indicator that things are going pretty well for your team.
And just one of these wins can really completely turn everything around for a team when you look at it. 6-12. Yeah, you know what? You put up 16 runs if the final score holds, or if this score holds as final. Yeah, okay, you only move up 1 game. But at the same time, think about how great that felt, how amazing the offense was, pitching as well. Defense. 1 swing and we would have been out of here already. It was 13-3 at one point.
Case Sanderson waiting on a 2-1 pitch, shoots it to short. Sheehan stays down, slings it across for out number 2.
And Cory, I think if the game was a little bit closer, I think that Ryan Smythe and Luxus would have gone away from Hudson Rowan a little bit earlier, probably after that first walk, or even after the second, before the grand slam to Natilli. It's very possible if it was, a 1-run, 2-run game, they elect to kind of move him out, but at that point, you don't want to waste a third arm when you're an out away from a mercy rule.
Anderson French also 0 for 3. Following Anderson, Sanderson, who's 0 for 4. Ty Stark has retired all 3 hitters he faced, replaced Hudson Rowan in the 7th. Struck out Camden Johnson, now 2 ground ball outs here in the top of the 8th. Facing 3 straight lefties. A pitch rolled foul, and it's 0-2 on Anderson French. You'd obviously love for the Gatemen to be able to turn this into a streak, a winning streak. Any win is big to snap a losing skid, but if they could start piling them on, they could really climb the standings. The foul tip into the glove of Carnes ends the top of the 8th. Ty Stark has been effective. He's been perfect since entering this game. 4 up, 4 down for the southpaw. Another chance for the Gatemen to walk it off, this time in the bottom of the 8th. Only need a run. They're up by 9 of them. 16-7. We move ahead to the bottom of the 8th on Cape League TV.
Finding a good personal injury attorney is very difficult. If you or a family member has been involved in an accident, hurt at work, suffered a slip and fall, or have been injured due to negligence of someone else, contact the lawyers at Reedy, Kiernan, and McNally, LLP today. They are experienced trial attorneys who practice in all of the courts in the Commonwealth. The firm has been recognized by Best Lawyers in America for outstanding legal representation. Contact Reedy, Kiernan, and McNally, LLP today. The firm is located at 267 Main Street in Wareham. Reedy, Kiernan, and McNally, LLP also has offices in New Bedford and Falmouth. Call 508-295-0286 or visit their website, www.rkm-law.com.
The game of the triangle. It's paid off for the Gatemen. All thumbs up from Nate Wallenhopt. At this rate, you put him in the game, he might connect on a base hit.
I mean, he just said, I love baseball, Cory, and I want him on my team in a game of charades, I'll tell you that. He illustrated that he loves baseball pretty perfectly right there.
We've been able to cut to him a couple of times tonight. He's been a treat both of those times.
Isn't he always, though?
Yeah, and I mean, listen, he was going through it as a fan, too, not only as our feature writer. He was going through it yesterday when this team was just struggling immensely. But just like this Gateman team, the body language, complete reversal. Richie begins the last of the 8th. Same situation for the Gatemen. This time just a run will seal the deal. Dylan Scudder back to work on the mound. Quickly, 2 balls, no strikes on Colin Ritchie. Pair of strikeouts, but a homer and a single for the Gatemen left fielder tonight. 2-0. Big swing and a miss.
And either way, unless Cotuit somehow puts up 9 runs in the top half of the 9th, this will be the last time that the Gatemen come up to bat tonight anyway.
High pop-up, drifting into foul territory. Down the third base line, comes back, and a nice job by Johnson to stick with it, twisting and turning. Settles under it for out number 1.
Shortstop, number 16, Vance Shahan from South Carolina upstate.
So if you're the Gatemen, you can either end it here in the bottom of the 8th, a half inning early, or do it the more conventional route in the top of the 9th. They were a strike away from ending it in the top of the 7th before Natilli had other ideas on the grand slam. Van Shayen takes a called strike off of his base hit in the 7th, scored a run.
That was a shot, too, from Natilli. I think we kind of overlooked that just because we were, really rooting for that mercy rule to come in, but he drilled that out into right center, took it the other way, and hit it a mile.
We've seen the home runs we've seen at Spillane Field. Obviously, we've seen a couple tonight. Richie's was to right center, and that was a bomb, no doubt. But a lot to left, some to right, but that one right center. Deeper part of the park for Natilli. An 0-2 on Shayen. Breaking ball, catches the corner.
Well, the Gatemen themselves have more home runs today at Spillane Field than they had coming into this game the entire season previously. Van Shayen had the home run earlier in the year, and then Colby Turner on Independence Day did the same thing. Other than that, those are the only 2 shots that have come here. So it's nice to see that getting it out of the park at home isn't as much of a rarity as it was made out to be through the first 17, 18 or so games.
Especially, we've seen some homers with, as you talked about, runners on base tonight. Cruson takes a ball just outside, 1-on-1 on the Gateman right fielder. They seem to have cracked the code tonight. The question is, can they turn this into a winning streak to really climb those standings? Kind of nullify the results of this 5-game skid. That one is ripped into right field. Stevens will play it on a hop. Chase Cruson has his first hit of the night.
I wouldn't be surprised to just see Cruson just take off here, move over to second, then maybe take off to third. What do you have to lose at this point?
Especially with Braden Randall. We get another look on the Cruson base hit. He's been swinging a hot bat. Good to see him on with the base hit. You get in the scoring position for this guy, and Braden Randall has 3 hits, that is. 3 for 5 tonight. The hit machine, Cruson on at first, the team's leader in stolen bases. That is the winning run for Wareham. Outfield shifts a little bit over to the right, with Winfield over into the gap. West playing in left field. Randall's the batter. Cruson on at first. He takes off for second. Pitch skips to the backstop. And Chase Cruson advances easily into scoring position.
Single from Randall should do it.
Randall has 3 hits tonight. Can the Gatemen end it a half inning early? Up 16-7. Pitch to Braden Randall. Wrap down the right field line. Just a little bit out in front of it.
Yeah, he got all of it, but you said it, just a little out in front. If he could have kept his hips and his hands back, deliver that one down the line like he did with the double back in the 6th inning, could be a much different story.
So now the count goes to 3 balls and 1 strike. Pitch from Scudder to Randall. Popped up. Into the outfield. Who wants it? It's going to be Winfield, settling under it and making the catch for out number 3. So no runs for the Gatemen on 1 hit. We'll try and win it the conventional way. Now 3 outs away. We move ahead to the top of the 9th. All Gatemen trying to seal the deal when we return on Cape League TV.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
A+ repairs smartphones, tablets, game consoles, and computers. Get it done right the first time.
Cape Cod Central Railroad is proud to sponsor the Wareham Gatemen for the 2nd year in a row. Experience the scenic beauty of Cape Cod like never before. journeying through picturesque marshes, cranberry bogs, and dunes on our historic rail line. Whether you're savoring a 5-course gourmet dinner, enjoying a Sunday brunch with a live jazz band, or bringing the family on a narrated excursion, there's a ride for everyone. Departing from Hyannis and Buzzards Bay, visit capetrain.com to book your ride today.
As we resume play back here at Spillane Field in the top of the ninth, a chance to remind you that this broadcast is a copyrighted production of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Any unauthorized duplication, retransmission, or other use is strictly prohibited. TJ Schlager, another lefty for the Gatemen. Why not? They've only used southpaws against this lefty-heavy Cotuit lineup. Takes over on the mound for the Gatemen. Before we get to him, though, we get a chance to look around the Cape and some of the other action going on. Some east-west matchups across the Cape. Brewster up big over Hyannis. Harwich in an East Divisional matchup over YD. Orleans topping Bourne. Falmouth over Chatham. So if you're the Gatemen, you're looking across the rest of the league. 2-1. East over West, a chance to move closer to some of these teams within your own division.
Yeah, a couple. Hyannis getting the loss, Falmouth up. You still got to keep pace, but the win still helps.
This is Schlager's second game of the summer for Wareham. 2 innings pitched, no earned runs. Trying to seal the deal for the Gatemen. 16-7. The score as he comes in. Faces Advincula at the top of the order for the Kettleers. First pitch, big swing and a miss. It'll be Easton Winfield on deck. Pinch hit earlier in this one. Back in the 7th for Cotuit. 0-1 to Advincula. Maneuvers out of the way of that breaking ball, 1-1. The Gatemen 3 outs away from ending this 5-game skid. 1-1. Rolled slowly back up the middle. Coming across is Shayan. Van Shayan, a nice play to begin the 9th. He is flashing the leather here tonight. Nabs the speedy Advincula.
He had a long run to try and get over there, and a nice play from him at short. Drifted all the way over, charged on it. His momentum kind of carried that throw, made it a lot easier with him drifting all the way over to first base anyway. Nice toss for the first out.
Winfield struck out in his pinch hit appearance in the 7th. He was like, Braden Randall, you thought you were going to get that ball? No, I'm going to take that ball. Another lefty on lefty matchup. You talked about it earlier, Josh Ryan Smythe saying he didn't want to flush this game, wanted his guys, last night's game that is, he wanted to remember just sort of the embarrassing feeling of it. Bouncer to first, caroms off the knee of Levi Clark all the way to Shane at shortstop. No play at that point. So Clark can't make the play. And Winfield reaches first.
That took a weird hop in front of Clark. Not a whole lot he could do there.
But obviously the message from Smythe seems like it resonated.
You think?
In a big way.
16 runs. I mean, even, a lot of the focus yesterday was all the errors. Just one so far today. 2 now. After that one getting charged to Clark.
Ryan Farber takes a breaking ball in there for strike 1. Air charge to Levi Clark. An error in this situation we talked about last night. If you're going to make errors, it helps when you have a 9-run lead.
Yeah.
There goes Winfield for second. Hunter Carnes isn't even going to think about throwing it down there. Cotuit right now, at the very least, trying to make it a little bit more respectable.
Well, here's the thing, though. now, Cory, you think back to last weekend. You took 2 out of 3 Friday through Sunday, Brewster and Orleans. Then you had the off day Monday. And then since then, that losing streak was kickstarted against Chatham, first off, all the way down to Falmouth yesterday. You get back in the win column today against Cotuit as long as you get these last 2 outs. You have another off day tomorrow, and you have to carry over this momentum through the off day into the matchup against the Whitecaps at home on Tuesday.
2-1 pitch is rocketed into left center field. It's down for a base hit. Winfield, the turnaround third, jogs in to score easily as Richie gets it in. The Kettleers played another here in the top of the 9th. 16-8 now.
Now batting the left fielder, number 36, Dean West from UCLA.
And that's the big question is now it's Dean West up in the batter's box. How can you carry that over and, again, turn it into a win streak? Because, listen, it's great as we get another look at this base hit by Farber to drive in the run. But, you know, if you drop the next one to Brewster, you just kind of go win-loss, win-loss. This one rolled to the right side. It sneaks through for a base hit. Farber was off and running, so he gets to third. Hit and run works out perfectly for Cotuit. Runners on the corners with 1 away. But if you don't go in a streak and just kind of tread water, yeah, you nullify or you end the losing streak, but you don't really pick up ground that way.
You win this, you're 5 games under 500. It's naive to think that you could get all of those games back that you were down in just one go. But with how the bats showed up today, and yes, a lot of it came from some of the guys that had already been producing and contributing to this Gatemen lineup day in, game out throughout the entire season. But it was also Colby Turner, 7 RBIs. Colin Ritchie had a home run in the first to cap off those 5 runs. Van Shane a single. Chase Cruson got on base with a walk. Everybody played their part, and when you can do that, it's really tough to beat a team.
This one is flied in the air to right field. Cruson settling under it. Farber will tag. He'll come across to score. Second run to cross the plate in the top of the 9th for the Kettleers. Make it 16-9, but now Cotuit is down to their final out. It's Camden Johnson now. And the thing is, it doesn't have to be, as we mentioned, a 7-game win streak, but, you know, you take 5 of 7 or 7 of 10. More wins than losses would certainly do the trick.
Even if you just go 3-2 over the course of a week, or 4-2, depending on how many games you get played. You know, I mean, every other week, you kind of go in and out with having the 2 off days or the 1 off day. But you look at this week. If you want to start off this week with Sunday, obviously that is, you know, technically the start of the week. But with the off day Monday, could kind of consider it the end of this 6-game streak. So then you go Tuesday home against Brewster, Wednesday at Orleans, then another off day Thursday, and then you have a weekend slate, Bourne, Hyannis, Falmouth. Those are another 3 teams in the West Division that could be really, really big wins. So you've got 5 games until the following Monday off day on the 14th. If you can go 3-2, maybe have 2 of those wins coming against some of those West Division opponents, you're in a much better spot.
Gatemen a strike away. Schlager's 0-2. Just getting a piece of that was Camden Johnson. Cotuit's plated 2 in the 9th to make it a little bit more respectable. Kettleers do have 10 hits, so to some degree the offense has carried over from yesterday. Just couldn't keep pace, and understandably so with this Gatemen onslaught. Once again, 0-2 with 2 away. Top of the 9th, Schlager's pitch. Misses outside. Gatemen had a couple of different opportunities to win this one early via the mercy rule, but now a chance to win it regardless. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Schlager ends it. Gatemen galore here at Spillane Field. Wareham gets their first win in July, back on track after last night's disappointing loss, 16-9. Wareham takes it over Cotuit.
And what a win it was, Cory. Incredible. 9 runs in the first 2 innings. You pile them on a little bit more. Colby Turner has 2 home runs, 7 RBIs. An absolute gem from Wareham. And now the best thing you can do is just try and carry it over as much as you can into Tuesday. You have an off day. Treat it as one, but at the same time know that it's not all sunshine and rainbows. You're still 5 games under 500. You've still got a long way to go to really try and get back in the thick of things. But there's a pulse with this team. They don't quit. They keep fighting. And it's been great to see, especially today.
We talked about the character and resolve this team needed to show. The 7 errors last night, it all kind of fell apart. 11-4 they dropped to Falmouth. An all-around kind of abysmal game. And they come right back here tonight and score 16 runs, 16-9 over Cotuit. And what more can you say? Ryan Smythe passed on that message to his team, wanted him to kind of remember how bad that taste was in Wareham's mouth after the game last night, and they responded in a big way.
They did. It's from the lows of yesterday, and, we got to talk to Smythe after that game, Cory, and he was pretty frustrated, not at any one individual player, but just of frustrated from a coaching perspective because he knows how much better the team can be. And that was something that he mentioned to us before the season even started. When we first got to talk to him, he was so optimistic about the outlook of this team and the roster and everybody that had kind of come in from their collegiate seasons, and he was really, really looking forward to the year. But he also knew at the same time in the back of his mind that everybody really has to not just commit, but give it their all. And doing that after 50, 60 games of a college season can be a lot. But he knew that the talent was there. He knew that the work ethic was there. And it all just kind of needed to click for the Gatemen. And it clicked tonight in the fullest way that it has all season. Now try and carry it over onto Tuesday.
The Gatemen improved to 7-12, get a much-deserved day off tomorrow before they're right back here at Spillane Field against Brewster, 6 o'clock on Tuesday. As that'll wrap it up for us here tonight. For Josh Richardson, Rayna Maggelet, sideline reporter, Abby Smith and Chuck Luarasi, our producers, thank you so much for tuning in. Wareham takes it 16-9 over Cotuit on the board with win number 1 here in July.